Look at this crowd, huh? Guys, do me a favor. Yeah. Sit down, please. Yeah. I know you guys are lighting a match in the back. Take it easy, will you? I know it's Friday. It's Friday night. It's going to be great. Let me say this much. I want to say thanks to everybody. Guys, last week we took off, right? It's that one time in August, Mooch kind of gets out there. We were just talking about this behind the scenes. Some people kind of unplugged from Twitter. I unplugged a bit from Twitter last weekend. Went out, enjoyed some of the lakes we have here in New York. Then I went right back to, my home stomping grounds. Went out to Citi Field. Spent the weekend with the Mets. The first place Mets, in case anybody's keeping track. Shout out to Donnell Brown and all the greats out there in California. But, guys, we got a great show for you. A few folks on the panel are going to be meeting us as the show goes on. You know how we do. We kind of grow as we go. That's just the way it is, man. It's just the way it is. But I want to say thanks to everybody, man. I needed that week to just kind of relax, get out there, get a little gaming in, just kind of take it easy as we go into this fall. We got a lot of games are going to be. I know everyone's saying there's a lot of delays, yet there's so many games coming out still. So when people say, Mooch, what do you think? There's a lot of delays. This sucks. And I go, listen, delays do suck. I'm not going to take that away from anybody. But realistically speaking, we have games coming out starting in a week and a half, and there's still a game or two coming out, massive game, every single month leading up to the holiday. So that being said, let me say this much. I see Damion out there. I see your boy Roy. I see the great Jimmy Harrison, who's with his family and listening to CrossFire. If he can do it, we all can do it. Guys, please tweet it out. Let people know we're live. I want to say thanks to all the Mooch Maniac family members. Guys, please, it means so much. Right above that description, you'll see the join button. If you'll take a second and hit that join button and join us here, there's 3 tiers there. We're going to be doing a giveaway within the next week or two. I still have that Series S. I still have it. It's completely sealed. I'm going to be giving that away, and I've got a couple of gift certificates, Amazon gift certificates, thanks to some of the great Mooch Maniac family members that have donated it, and that's going back out to you guys. Those are not for me. Those are going out to you. So, shout out to J-Boy. He says, Mooch, shout out to the rooftops. Absolutely, buddy. That being said, let me thank each one of these guys individually, and then we're going to get to this amazing panelist joining us. The great Sir X-Man, which I hope he's feeling better. He was on the show 2 weeks ago. JudaZuk, WoolleyGamer, Frostbite Slash, MumbleRanting Gaming, TysonWeb509, TrueWiddy, Kn1ght Ripper7, Big Chuck 777, Alphonso Carter, BRAP, Jamie, Damion, the great Jimmy Harrison, Zombilla Ice Cream, Andy Hart, DadOfWar, Isaac Gentry. Love it. Isaac Gentry, outstanding. Our major Mooch Maniacs, FAKEManBearPig, Gaming with Persona. You guys might know him. You might hear from him real soon, as a matter of fact. Great guy. The great Jay Bari. You guys, listen, Persona and Jay Bari, I'm going to do the intro in a second for them. They do a great job throughout the week of doing solo casts, and they do a fantastic job on Saturday mornings, but we'll get to that in a second. Domino Zero, SupremeSamurai, Who Are You 5, your boy Roy, Smokes901, Tactical Gamer, Donnell Brown, That Guy Smitty, 4-Star General, Brian B., a.k.a. Delirium Blades, and our VIP Mooch Maniacs, Shadow Assassin, Strictly the Wise Old Gamer, and the great Percolator 9000, and our honorable mentions. You're out there with that food, water, or toilet. Guys, we miss you. Come home. The great Marty Bison, Ola Mocha 17, CJ UK, where are you? Rate the Emperor, Remarkable Knights, Rated D Demonic, and our forever Mooch Maniac Longshot 316. Guys, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Your names come up in lights. It's fantastic. That being said, let me get to this amazing panel. Let me start with the one, the only, and I was on the show on Wednesday. Let me tell you something. It got spicy. But the great Conjecture Basement Radio Arcade Podcast, BRAP, is here tonight. BRAP, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Hey, it's great to actually be back here, man. I've missed CrossFire for 2 weeks, and it's great to be here, man. Great panel, a lot to talk about, and Mooch, I just want to share something real quick. Give you a little historical perspective, if I may. Did you know that in 2016? Persona 5 released for $60.
Really?
That's equivalent of paying $75 for a video game today when adjusted for inflation. So I just want to throw that out there. It's great to be back, man.
Great to have you back. Shout out to the great Noof. I hope you're listening to the show. Noof, if you are, give me a few minutes to get through the intro, and I'll get that out there. The great Noof Nukem is going to be joining us, but it's going to take me a few minutes to get him back into the room. Let me do these intros real quick, and we'll get started here. By the way, shout out to the great. Let me just go ahead and introduce this great individual right here, the great Fork Boy Gaming. Welcome back to the VIP Mooch Maniac room. Fork Boy, I got to be honest with you, buddy. I threw the Mooch symbol out there, and you said you could do it. And I sent you that GIF, right, of literally, I think it's Michael from The Office when he's shocked, he almost falls out of his chair. That's me. But I'm so excited that you're here, man. you know, you got to tell people a little bit more about what you're doing on your channel, too. It's awesome that you're doing something completely outside of the box. It's completely different from what everyone else is doing. I encourage that creativity, man. I love your open just forum. I love your open spirit. And, you know, down when it gets down to brass taxes, you're a gamer, dude. You're playing Destiny. I'm jealous when I see how much ahead of me you are. So, Fork, listen, welcome back to the show, buddy. It's been too long. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing good. As far as the channel goes that we're doing, I have no clue what the kids are doing. I kind of let them run it. We were doing puppets, sock puppets, and now we're doing horror games. So I have no clue what's going on.
I see.
And now my daughter wants to beat the legendary campaign for Destiny, so she's working on that, and she has no mods whatsoever, no gear, and yeah, so we're seeing where this is going. But at the end of the day, they're having fun with it, and that's what matters. So.
Absolutely, buddy. Absolutely. Well, it's great to have you. Noof, by the way, I can see that you're in the chat. I don't know how that happened. I have no idea. Noof got locked out of the channel. I just got to get a hold of the great J Matrix. J Matrix will get you in here. Just sit tight. Give me about 5 minutes after I get through intros, and I'll make sure we get you back in here ASAP. So, Noof, just hold on tight. The great Eric Jackson's here. E, I got to tell you something, man. Another great addition to our panel tonight. Buddy, it's outstanding to have you here. And tonight we're going to have topics. I don't know if you got a chance to see them all. There's the great Noof Nukem now. I don't know how Noof Nukem didn't. I don't know how he got locked out, but he's back here. But E, I got to be honest with you. There's a reason when I call you onto the show. And sometimes it's even to put Mooch in his place. You know, I need a voice of reason. And for some reason, you've got something over everybody in podcasting and everybody on Twitter. When you speak, people listen, me being one of them. I'm in the front row, big thing of popcorn. Eric, welcome back to the show, buddy. Great to have you there this evening. How you doing?
Always a pleasure to be on, man. I'm always glad when you throw out the invite and we can actually like line it up where I can make it. You know, I'm sorry I'm late, but I'm happy to be here, man. I always love coming on and chopping it up with the panel.
No, as far as I'm concerned, when you're here, you're right on time, man. I just appreciate you being here, man. It's great to have you. Let me go ahead and say this. While I still have a little bit of a voice, Mooch went out and had a little bit of... We went out last night. Everybody went out. I don't know why. Maybe it's because the summer's wrapping up. But before I lose my voice completely, I want to say this. I want to say, welcome back to the show, the man himself, Boom Boom Kaboom! Noof Nukem's in the room. Noof, I don't know what happened with the... in and out of the channel, but I got news for you, buddy. You got a golden key, okay? You've got a golden key to the Mooch's Discord, so you're never not here. Noof, welcome back to the show, buddy. How you doing this evening? Now, Noof? See, it's not working. He's in here. You guys can see him. He's right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? He is calling in on his phone, though, and the phone was working so well before. I don't understand this. This is quite confusing to me. Noof, keep trying. The minute you can get anything going, just scream as loud as you possibly can, okay? You're welcome to do that on the show. While Noof kind of figures that out, and I'll kind of work with it on my side as well here, I want to say what's up to the great Persona. Gaming with Persona's with us tonight. Persona, listen, man, I give you this credit all the time. You've legitimately, started something outstanding on your channel, man. You go home, after a hard day's work, you get all of this information together. You do a great solo podcast on Monday. Sometimes you do Thursday. Sometimes you do Friday. And then you do a great What's Up PlayStation with the great Jay Bari on Saturday mornings, 11 a.m. Eastern time. Listen, I got to tell you something, Persona. Love having you on the show, man. Great to have you back on the show. Love the energy you bring and the knowledge with gaming you bring as well. How you doing this evening, man?
Hey, Mooch, what's going on, man? First off, shout out to you. I appreciate the invite always, man. It's always good to come through to the CrossFire podcast and chop it up with the fellas and the ladies in the chat and everybody. Shout out to the panel, shout out to the chat. So I'm wondering, Mooch, I think at this point, I think your chat looks at me as family now. I think I'm a part of the CrossFire family where, even the ones that disagree, they say, well, although I don't really like this pony Persona, he's makes some good points, man. I can't really be mad at him anymore. I think they appreciate me now. So I don't think we have to count how many people are going to hate me in the chat anymore because they've embraced me, Mooch. They love me. And you know what? I love them too, Mooch. I love your chat. Okay, just as much as I love my own. Okay, but listen, man, I'm happy to be here. I can't wait to talk gaming. I can't wait to talk the topics and whatnot. And it's gonna be a great show, guys, like it always is.
Yeah, Persona, and I'm gonna go ahead. Noof, I had plans to go to you first here, Noof. Noof, can you Say anything yet? Not yet. And it's funny because he's in here, but it says it's locking him out, and I just don't understand that. This has been another issue. Check your settings on your phone, Noof. We're going to get this worked out. I don't care if you're on for the last hour. I don't care if you're on for a half hour. We got to get the great Noof Nukem on here. This is just his PC setup. He's going through something with his new PC he's got coming in, so he's been doing an alternate route here just for today. And that always happens to Mooch. Like, I don't know if you guys remember this, but like this happened with the great Tim Dog. Tim was on the show. And his new PC, his new Surface was on the way, so we couldn't get him in the room because the phone wouldn't connect to the Discord. It's, Discord is just an absolute mess. It's a mess. Everyone was so excited. Xbox has got Discord. PlayStation's going to get it next year maybe or something like that. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, who's excited about this? Has anyone ever used this shit? It's not good. It's not good. So, Noof, keep trying. I think it's a setting on your phone. It's got to be a setting because there's nothing for me to do. It says you're clear to talk on my end, and you're in the room. So you couldn't get in the room if you weren't clear. It's got to be something on the phone. Just keep dabbling with all those options. But I'm going to go to the great Persona. I like putting the guests on the hot seat first here. Persona, one of the things that I said years ago, okay, when the whole Microsoft announced they were going to do day and date on PC, I said, I get it. I get it. And we've gone down this road, right? We've gone down this road many, many a times. Microsoft kind of had to do that, right? They wanted to make more money because their games weren't necessarily selling at the increment that they wanted these games to sell at. But here we have Spider-Man on PC, Spider-Man Remastered on PC coming out and already topping the charts. So, Persona, first of all, I want to hear, what's your take on Spider-Man going on to PC after, I believe was it a 2017 or 2018 release on Spider-Man on PS4?
2018.
So the 2018 release, here we are. It's the middle of 2022. It's going to PC, and it's selling like crazy. Do you think the double dip process is working for Sony? And knowing what you know now with what we've seen with the games going to PC, why would they ever change what they're doing when they're absolutely selling like gangbusters years later?
So, great question, Mooch. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
I think that when it comes to Spider-Man going to PC, I mean, listen, you know how I feel about PC, right? I think PC gamers deserve nothing. They deserve nothing.
That's slander, sir.
I would not even give a PC gamer the shirt off my back. Okay, they can't eat at my table. They deserve nothing, right? But unfortunately, money talks, and so here we are, where PlayStation is putting their games on PC. And so my thing is, I think it's first off, I'm not surprised. It's Spider-Man. Spider-Man is a household name. Spider-Man is I mean, look how Spider-Man No Way Home did, right? It grossed almost $2 billion. So when you've got a game that's such high quality like Spider-Man 2018 coming onto PC with the bells and whistles, because Insomniac is always going to do a great job regardless of where a game is going. So with the bells and whistles, with the wide monitor support and all the other great stuff that's going on, I'm not surprised to see this game going into PC and topping the charts, right? One thing about it is that a lot of PlayStation games are highly sought after. As much as people like to say, "Oh, these games are one and dones," or they're not great games, or whatever, they're a bunch of walking simulator movies, whatever people like to say to kind of tell their psyche that they don't need to play this game, people know when a game is good. And so I'm not surprised to see this be at the top of the charts. When it comes to how PlayStation has been doing it, I mean, I think the method of what they've been doing, well, I don't agree with shit going to PC at all, but that's a conversation for another day.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of the method of how they've been doing things, I do think that it is smart. They're putting the best games on PC that they know will sell. God of War sold. Horizon's going to sell. They're putting a lot of their best foot forward with that, and they're staggering out these releases. It's not something that's coming out like day and date. It's much, much, much later. Now, obviously, that could change in the future, but as we're looking at it right now, I think the method of how they're doing things is definitely try to get as much money on their primary platform that's put them in a position where they're at now, and then moving on to PC, which is the movie method, right? You go from movie theaters down to CDs or DVDs and Blu-rays, down to subscription services, down to on TNT where you got 50 commercials every scene. So I think that's what they're going with this here.
I completely agree with you on that. Now, BRAP, what do you think? We talked about double dipping for quite some time here. What's your take on this whole thing here with the? And I mean, a lot of people are like, "Wow, it looks so much better on my $4,000 PC." Well, yeah, I mean, I certainly would hope so, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the PC's the definitive version of gaming. It's the Lamborghini of games. I mean, everyone's playing on Hyundais and Hondas, which is fine, but when you're spending the kind of money we do on PCs, you're buying a premier experience. So but look, I just want to say something. I would give the shirt off my back to Persona as a PC gamer. I just want to throw that out there.
I'll give you a sock.
Okay, that's progress. That's progress, right?
He treat you like Dobby the house though.
I was just about to do it. I was about to do the voice. Dobby got the sock. Dobby free.
Oh man, that's funny.
Must have given Dobby a sock.
Oh my. But yeah, this
Dobby a 380 Ti.
Oh man. But no, it's not surprising. I mean, this is part of look. I mean, companies have responsibilities to make more money. I mean, it's funny when we talk about $70 gains, people always throw out, record profits. Well, yeah, no shit. I mean, like they have a fiduciary responsibility to make more money, and not say, oh, you know what, guys, we had a record profit year, so we're gonna stay status quo. We're just gonna keep things as is. Like, no,
BRAP, you saying it's not based on feelings? Like CEOs
exactly.
and board members, they don't sit in a room and say, how do you think the audiences are going to feel about this?
Yeah, exactly. Their job is to make more money than they did the year before, and damned if it's record profits, they need to beat those record profits. So, anyhow, look, I mean, there was a article, GameIndustry.biz, one of the I forget his name. He's a gaming analyst, Sam Najee, I think his name is, and he talked about this. He said, Sony in the next couple of years expected to make about $500 million in sales on PC. Now that's additional revenue that Sony wouldn't have had if they did not release these games on PC. So it just makes sense for them. It's more money. They're trying to grow. I mean, look, Jim Ryan, I don't think he should be the spokesperson for Sony per se. Mm-hmm. But Jim Ryan is a numbers guy. He was a CFO, and he's looking at the numbers, and he's trying to figure out other ways to expand revenue, and PC just makes sense. There's probably a market there. Well, I should say probably there is of people that aren't going to buy a PlayStation 5 that Sony can now tap into and say, you know what? We know you're not going to buy a PlayStation 5. We're going to sell you our first party content. And there's rumors that at some point there's going to be a login tied to PC games where you have to log into a PlayStation or have a PlayStation account. Mm-hmm. That would make sense because now that really brings people into that ecosystem. But I'm not surprised. It makes sense. They're good. Look, these companies are all about making money. Like Eric said, it's not about feelings. It's about business. And if Sony's got the one thing Sony has, like Nintendo, is they have really IPs that are very popular that sell very well. We looked at Nintendo's fiscal, I think Q3 numbers. And
can I interrupt you for a second, bro, real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
You said something that just like it made me jerk a little bit. Pause. I jumped a little bit when you said that. Okay. Because you said it's not about feelings, it's about the business, which I agree 100%, right? And I'm not when I say this, I'm not this is not towards you. This is more so just in general of what we see on the discourse we see on Twitter and Twitter Spaces and then YouTube podcasts and all this other stuff. But oftentimes we see a lot of people say that when you do talk about the business of gaming, they shun you. Say, oh well, do you have any stocks? Are you in a boardroom? Why do you care about the business? Why do you care about the money they make when it's not in their favor, right? But then when it comes to something that would bolster their argument, they expect you to, you have to look at this from a business perspective. And it's like, no, we all are looking at this. I'm looking at this from a consumer perspective that has a PlayStation and put money into the PlayStation ecosystem. So as a consumer, I want to make sure that I come first. You understand? That is my main.
That's very selfish of you, by the way, Persona.
But see, shout out to Bari. Gaming is a selfish hobby. Gaming is a very selfish hobby. So when it comes to these types of things, I yes, the money, they want to make the money because they want to get other avenues of revenue and things like that. I agree with that 100%. But I think it's funny how on sometimes people will say, "Oh yeah, we have to look at this from a business perspective," but then on other times when we're talking about why like day and date and a subscription service wouldn't be the best thing, oh well, are you in the boardroom? Are you the accountant? Are you in the, like this whole we need to look at this from a business perspective only suits them when it comes when it fits their argument. And it's like, as a consumer, are you being treated or being given the best quality experience in games? Now, obviously, right now, PlayStation is doing that. But if putting games on PC or getting closer to a day and date situation or anything like that on PC hinders that quality that PlayStation gamers are used to, it becomes a problem for me. Not the person that prefers PlayStation, the consumer and the person that has put money into this product, expecting the best experiences possible.
But here's the thing, though.
That's what I'm sorry, Brad. But I was just gonna say that I'm agreeing with Persona because I say all the time, this is not charity, and people act like it's charity. When they cap and they do all these other things, I'm like, you put your hard-earned dough on it. You have a voice. You say what you need to say, and people always go, "Well, there's plenty to play. You don't have to like be mad because there's no this and there's no that. There's always plenty. Yeah, there's always plenty to play, but nobody's giving me anything." So like any company can get smoked when I feel like I've given you hard-earned money and you're not doing what you need to do, and that's all of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Fork.
Yeah.
I think what it comes down to is people think they need to tell you their opinion, and their opinion is what you should listen to, and that's the problem. It's like, that's great that you own an Xbox. That's great that you own a PlayStation. Okay, great. Play what you want, where you want. I mean, I have a PlayStation only because I love Ghost of Tsushima. My son plays Spider-Man on it. To me, it's like, okay, and like what Persona was saying, people try to, oh, well, are you in the boardroom? Well, no. Oh, sales don't matter. It's like, I mean, people are going to say whatever they need to say to win the argument that they think they need to win, when it's like, there's not an argument to have. It's more of, hey, look, they want to make money. Okay, they're going to do it that way. And I've seen the whole, oh, well, one day PlayStation games will be day one. And I've said it, but at the same time, it's like, if they keep making sales 2, 3, 4 years after the game releases, then they may just stay that way of 2, 3, 4 years, because for some stupid reason, people seem to think that hardcore gamers represent the entire gaming community, and that's not true. Most gamers do not own a computer, an Xbox, and a PlayStation.
Right.
They have one or the other, and so they have to pick what they're playing.
I literally still have one of my casual friends that he just said it the other day. We were all giving him shit, right? We're all playing Warzone, and he's on PS4, and we're like, dude, man, you can go to the store and get these. They're available. You got to maybe put your ear to the ground a little bit, but it's not hard to get one if you really want to get one, either console at this point. And I think that he's like, no, man. He's like, until I find out, like, they're not, like, PS4 is shot, then I'm going to keep my PS4. So you're right. And he doesn't have an Xbox. He doesn't have a gaming PC. He's just on his PS4.
Mooch, and only like 25% of the consumer base in gaming owns multiple platforms. So it's a very small segment of the population. Even more so, like people like us, like who own a PC and multiple consoles in the household. That's even smaller. Like there's not many people that do that, and and they may not go day and date on PC. I mean, but again, these people. A lot of this is all driven on data. Like they're looking at data, they're looking at analytics. It's not based on feeling, like Eric Jackson said. Like it's really based on data and. Is this a viable source of revenue for us? Can we make this work? And it's working right now. Again, I think Fork brought up a great point. They may not see the need to go day and date on PC because of where they're doing right now, and their games are still, even after their games release, they still sell well on the PlayStation 5 or PlayStation platform, and so they may not need to do that right away. They could just say, you know what, we've hit that maturation retail point with this release. Now it's ready to go on PC, and we can kind of squeeze some more pennies out of that game by releasing it on PC. So,
but that's also okay. Sorry.
No, Persona, go.
I was gonna say just to BRAP's point. I think that's also why we see PlayStation kind of playing as fast and loose with PC releases, because their games are selling on PlayStation. That's why, yes, I do think they want to move into that market. But I think we see PlayStation moving into that market at their pace and not at the pace that people might want them to go. Where when it came to Microsoft, and again, this is not no fanboy stuff. I always have to say that these days because people think because I prefer PlayStation, I hate everything else. But with Microsoft, when things weren't going so well last generation, and they, they kind of pivoted to PC, it was kind of a just like, okay, we've got Game Pass, everything's day then on PC. That's it, moving forward. Like it wasn't a gradual like, let's put this on there, let's put that on there, let's give them time to develop this, or it'll come out later. Because I can guarantee you that when Last of Us 1 remake comes out on September 2nd, that's going to sell at least 3+ million on the PlayStation 5. A lot of people are going to rebuy that game, even the people that hate it. But then if it's slated to come out on PC, like let's say February, I can easily see that selling another million or two on there as well. But the fact of the matter is, it's going to sell regardless if it does or does not come out on PC. And I think that's why PlayStation is moving at their own pace with this PC stuff. And I think at some point, that's why it's working the way it is, because they're able to put the time in to make the games as high quality as possible for that PC audience and make it as high quality as possible on the PlayStation 5 platform. But the moment that one of those things lapse, it's going to have to be a give and take situation where one or the other is going to have to drop. And, obviously I think that the latter would be, PC.
Yeah, I got a couple super chats here, and I want to talk about, first of all, the great Noof Nukem is trying so hard to get in here. I don't know what the issue is. Again, we had this problem with Tim Dog weeks back. Until Noof gets his PC back.
Mooch, it's issue with like Discord on the phone. I've noticed that with a couple other guests.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a phone. I don't know why.
Well, he says he's also tried his Chromebook, but that didn't work either. So it's just,
okay. I don't know.
This is just an absolute, Discord really pisses me off, man. I don't know. When people are like, yeah, Discord, all right, yeah, whatever. So I want to get a couple super chats. By the way, shout out to the great Noof Nukem. Noof, if there's a way we can get you on here, or there's another device you have in your house, maybe try a different phone. I know it sounds ridiculous, but anything you can do, I don't care. Get on the Xbox. Use the Xbox Discord app. Whatever you got to do, just get on the show, man. I really wanted to talk to Noof tonight. We'll try to get Noof Nukem on another night if we can't get him tonight. But I got a couple super chats here. C-Mad here, he says, Microsoft has stated numerous times Call of Duty will remain on PlayStation. I believe I'm reading this right. Does anyone on the panel have a compelling reason why the Microsoft ABK deal is bad for the consumer? We're going to kind of get into that in a second, C-Mad. So I'm not going to forget that super chat at all. We're going to get to that in a second. I want to say shout out to Domino Zero. He says, the super chat's working. Do it up. Please, God. Yes, the super chat is working. Thank you, Domino. Face23 says, why are people surprised a 3080 or a 3090 will look better with RT, ray tracing reflections compared to PS5 high-end PC compared to a $500 console? That's the problem I have, because there's the vocal minority on Twitter that's like, well, there you go. I'm glad I waited 5 years. All right, I get it. You definitely have the better. But if you want to play a game and enjoy it, like I'll give you an example. I'm enjoying my Steam Deck, right? And I'm playing certain games like Yakuza 0. I'm playing other games. Resident Evil. I'm playing Resident Evil 4, right? So I'm enjoying these games. They don't look their best on the Steam Deck, right? But I want to play them. You play them. The same thing goes for new titles. Like these games that are going to be coming out. Like you have Saints Row, right? You're going to have Gotham Knights. You're going to have, oh God, what another? Well, I was going to say Hogwarts Legacy, but that's not coming out this year. But you get my point. When these games come out, I don't want to wait. If they were exclusive to one console, I'm not going to wait 4 years. That's me. If you guys want to wait, by all means, go ahead. But if you want to wait 4 years and then you also want to spend money on a 3080, a 3090, or what's coming out in the 40 series, well, yeah, you're going to have a better experience. Absolutely. BRAP, you say it all the time, right? If you're willing to put in the money and put in the time with these exclusives, the PC is the definitive way to play the game. But a lot of gamers really, they don't care about that. The nooks and crannies of the the ray tracing and things like that. You're swinging through the air at a mile a minute. You're going as fast as you possibly can.
Swing to the left.
Swing to the right. And the point of the matter, by the way, yeah, that's one of that was my number one IP back in 2018. Yeah, I got a platinum record for that. But I got to be honest with you, BRAP, even though that is the definitive way to play, do you understand that certain gamers, probably majority of gamers, don't feel that way?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean that's the thing about gaming. I mean, there's a variety of this is the one thing that kind of like frustrates me about the conversation around gaming, that people always forget that, like any other consumer product, you have different consumers that want to engage in that product in different ways. Mm-hmm. Some people want that definitive experience. They want that high-end graphics. high FPS. Like Slow-Mo always talks about, if it's not 60 FPS, I'm not playing it. Some people just want to, plug and play. Some people don't want. Some people don't want to pay $70 for a AAA game. Some people don't want to pay for games at all, so they go, the free-to-play route. I mean, no different than any other consumer product. People have different wants, different needs, and I just don't understand why people forget that when it comes to gaming. Like, I see a lot of people apply what they want to the rest of the market, and that's just not how it works at all.
Oh,
So
people want that. If they think they're right, that's what they want. They don't realize that. I mean, you got World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy 14. You have to pay $15 a month to play it. Okay, then you have others that are free to play. You have Xbox that focuses on Game Pass, PlayStation that focuses on, their console exclusives that sell like hotcakes when they come out, and then they sell like hotcakes again on PC. I mean, to me, I don't get why people seem to think it's my way or the highway when it's like, I'm sorry, if I don't like Call of Duty, I don't like Call of Duty. It doesn't make me a bad gamer. It just, that's my personal choice. Ducky said in the comments earlier, it was like, play what you want, where you want, with the people you enjoy to play. And that's what gaming is about.
Amen.
It doesn't matter if you're playing Destiny on PlayStation or Xbox, or if you're playing, Spider-Man on PC or on PlayStation. If that's where you want to play it, awesome. To me, I'd rather play high frames per second than graphics. That's just me. I know some people that would rather have 4K playing at 15 frames per second. Play what you want, where you want.
So, it's funny you say that, Fork, and I like that we have this gameplay here. I went back, I'm while we have a little bit of time here before, like, Saints Row and a couple other the new games drop, I'm going back and I'm finishing a couple of games where I finished them, but I did not get the platinum. So I want to get the platinum for Ratchet and Clank here, as you're seeing. And it's funny because I want to bring this up.
By the way,
it's a great game, and I want to say
really
that
great.
Fork's point needs to be said. It needs to be mentioned for this particular game. For me, this is a me thing. This is a Mooch thing. Okay, I went and tried to play this game. I think you can play this game upwards of 120 FPS right now. I know you can at least do the 60 on performance mode. And it took a little bit away of the shine. And I typically still go 60 frames or 120 for my my Call of Duties, things like that. But when it comes to anything like this, I didn't see the 60 or 120 for me on this one. This one here, I liked the graphical fidelity. I liked it. I liked the way it looks. I actually played this one in the 4K 30, this particular game. Now, again, when I'm playing shooters, I
couldn't do it, Mooch.
That's fine. That's fine. But if you actually go and...
But that goes back to, how diverse consumers are, right? Like, you want that, 4K. I'm like, that's not for me. But neither of us are wrong, right?
Well, I mean, look at this. Look at the type of game here. What does everybody always say? Oh, it looks like a Pixar, movie, this and that. I'm enjoying this game at that 30 frame, and I'm getting every single bit of juice from the PS5, putting it into the graphics, getting that 4K out there, and it is absolutely stunning. When you switch it over to the performance mode, there's you lose a lot of color. Everything kind of gets a little washed out. And I sat there and I was like, the performance is phenomenal. It really is great. But I was like, I'm willing to actually sacrifice it in this one particular case. I don't do that very often. I'd rather have my 60 frames at minimum. But I thought that for this game in particular, I'm really enjoying this at the 4K 30. I don't do that for pretty much anything else. But this really, really was just a graphical. It was a graphical showpiece. And Persona, what do you think? I mean, you hear me saying this. Could you enjoy this game here at 4K 30, or no, you're like BRAP, it has to be 60 or it has to be 120?
Nah, I mean, listen, man, as a console gamer, we've been playing games at 30 frames for a long time, right? So I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna turn my nose up to 30 because now we're getting 60 consistently. I do think 30 still has its place, and it's a great way to show off what a game can truly, truly do with the HDR and the ray tracing and the bells and whistles of the graphical performances. So that's good, man. I went 60 my first playthrough with this.
Yep.
But I did switch to 30 in certain parts to see how it looks and like how beautiful it is. I mean, to me, I thought 60 looked great as well, but that 30, man, like with all the graphics and all that stuff, especially if you play, like I'm playing on an OLED LG C1. And my God, this I can't even talk. Like it's beautiful, man. This is such a beautiful game, man. This is one of the. There's a reason why Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart keeps winning so many developmental and technological achievement awards for a lot of these award shows, because this is truly amazing how beautiful this game is through and through.
It really is.
It's amazing. So yeah, it's great.
Hey, real quick, Persona. Like to your point, like when I go out and spend $500 on a brand new console, like this is the kind of experience I want. I want that showpiece, right? I want something that's going to be like, okay, this is why I paid my hard-earned money on this console, this brand new console,
right?
To have this kind of experience that I can't have on the previous generation,
right?
And
BRAP,
this game,
you're not excited. You don't think Pentiment is a good showpiece? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Man. I wasn't even thinking about that.
Sorry.
Oh man, I really wasn't thinking about that Persona. But no, I mean like this game, I mean, and there's other games that have launched on the PlayStation 5. And it's not just the graphics, by the way, like the haptic feedback in this game, the controllers.
Yeah.
I mean, wow. And
dude,
I was super
game,
like
this game continues to blow me away. It really is an amazing game.
Yeah.
And it looks great. Like you said, they really utilize the DualSense controller. Everything is just everything, even the speaker on the controller, it does certain sounds and noises that give you that more enwrapped feeling of you're in the world. It engulfs you.
Even the haptic feedback, like the immersion that provides. Like I was skeptical, like when Sony said, "Oh, we're doing Rumble haptic feedback, whatever." I'm like, whatever, it's a gimmick. And then I played, oh my God, what was it? Returnal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy shit.
Oh, Returnal is a great example.
Right? Like, yeah. I'm like, okay, like like I'm a believer, right, Persona? Like I was like, they weren't bullshitting.
No, yeah, like there's a PlayStation I think has been doing I would even like Returnal's a good one, but I would even go back to like Miles Morales and Demon Souls and Sackboy, where like at the launch, I remember first game I played at launch of PS5 was Miles Morales.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, funny enough, I played Miles Morales at 30 frames because I went to 30 and I saw that opening cutscene and like the world and all that. I was like, oh nah, because I'm coming from PS4, so like, all right, we still used to 30. We just gonna stick with the 30 because I knew if I went to 60, I was not going back to that 30. So I played my first playthrough of Miles Morales was in 30 frames. But I remember like the haptic feedback and those adaptive triggers when Miles was swinging through the city.
Wow,
I was blown away, bro. I was like, yo, what? Yo, this
Persona, what about the tension of the webs? You could feel the tension on the webs.
Yep.
Like that, like I was like blown away by that. I'm like, what? What is this?
Amazing.
Yeah, no, it's great. And it's and kudos to Gorilla. I mean, we look at somebody in the live chats like, oh, Sony games are all cross-gen, and that's not true. Conjecture. But even Horizon Forbidden West, I mean, on the PlayStation 5 looks incredible. Incredible. And even when like the haptic feedback, when you pull him back on the bow with Aloy, I mean, it's just great.
Yeah. It's funny. So BRAP, Babor, the great Babor Kontri is here. The show can start once Babor is here. Babor says, why don't you ever discuss, and he's not talking to you, BRAP, but I go to you because you are our resident PC guy here. And he says, why don't you ever discuss PC ports negatives? There's a lot of them.
I mean, there's there's issues sometimes with PC ports that can be buggy and but I mean, like I like for the most part, my PC experience hasn't been that bad. Like I haven't had major issues where games are having game breaking bugs or the frames aren't, the FPS is terrible, it's dropping, or like I just haven't had those issues. So I mean, even when Cyberpunk came out, and we know about that game when it released, I was playing it on the 2070 and I had some ray tracing enabled with the, and it actually performed okay. I didn't have a lot of issues. So that's just my experience. Other people have different experiences on PC.
Yep.
I think the worst experience I've ever had on PC is when my operating system crashed and I had to reinstall it. But that's probably it. It's probably like, I haven't, like, I don't do a lot of tinkering for, it's funny, I was talking to GameLogic about this. I think this generation, with PlayStation and the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and my TV, and hooking everything up, like my Xbox is hooked. Everything's hooked up to. I have an Atmos surround sound system, so everything's hooked up via eARC, right? And sometimes like the handshake just doesn't work.
Right.
And so I feel like I'm troubleshooting more on my console right now than I am on my PC. But that's my experience. I mean, everyone else is having different experiences. Like you and I have been on conversations with Delirium Blades,
right,
where he's troubleshooting shit, right? So that's just my experience. So
yeah, and I gotta say, and I don't play nearly the amount of PC games that you do. Or shout out to the great Slow-Mo Backslap, which by the way, I was just getting stuff ready for CrossFire, and I saw that Cult of Lamb game. I believe Slow-Mo's playing that on PC. He plays a lot of games on PC. So a lot of people always say they play on PC, and because BRAP, you know that we like that we hang out, we game together. You know that I'm predominantly on console.
Well, Mooch,
so
we got to pull your GPU, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I'm losing my GPU card. Great. I just said I was going to get a 40 series. I mean, apparently, I'm going to get blocked.
Why? Why would you get a 40 series?
I don't know. Why wouldn't I?
You're not going to use it.
Well,
You're not going to use it.
Well, who knows? Right?
You're not going to use it, Mooch.
I want a 40 series just so it can sit there and I can say I have it.
Well, there you go.
Boom.
Well, I mean, there you go.
Yo, Mooch, don't let these PC dudes do that. No, get you that 40 series card, because this is what PC dudes do. They're gonna tell you to get just a card that's just good enough.
That's right.
No.
You get the best card that
that's
your
what I'm saying.
money can buy.
I would say
if your money can buy the 40 series
oh, yeah,
Ti, whatever.
Fork,
buy that
he's talking about BRAP.
No, so like I saw that and I'm like, okay, the 40 series, you get the 4090, it's pushing 8K. There's no damn game pushing 8K, so why not get it?
No, there really isn't. There's not. No.
You were so future-proof that it's like, great, now I can sit back and run everything at maximum and be like, look at this.
I mean, the real sweet spot, and everybody will tell you this, I think a lot of PC guys will agree with me here. Tell me if I'm wrong, guys, in the chat. There's some PC guys here. I mean, wouldn't you say that right now you want a card that's capable of handling 1440p, upwards of 120 frames, and handling ray tracing without taxing or overheating your system, right? Isn't that the sweet spot?
Mooch, that's
I want that 1440p 120, boy.
Oh, all right.
1440p really is a sweet spot, because it's funny, people will try to troll me on Twitter, like, oh, you're playing at 1440p. I'm like, yeah, I'm playing at 1440p at 120 or 144 at high settings or ultra settings, which you're not. You're playing like low mid settings.
Yeah.
So like when I play Halo Infinite, I'm playing it at high settings.
Yeah.
At 144, which the Xbox Series X is not doing. It's not doing that at high settings. And for those who don't know, high settings is like graphical settings, right? So
yes,
so it's like 1440p. And when you're playing on a 27-inch monitor, it's like, it's a sweet spot.
Yes, I was going to hit that. When you're playing on a monitor that's designed for 1440, that's designed for 144, it's designed just for game PC. It's not your 82-inch or 75-inch LG that's designed for 50 different things. This is designed for gaming, and that's all it's designed for. So 1440, make fun of it. That's great. I got 30 other settings that I have on Ultra that make that 1440 make your 4K look like crap. So it's not always about the resolution. There's a lot of other things that can be tweaked.
Exactly. The other thing I'll say too is I know Persona mentioned the C1 OLED. I just hooked up my I started playing Cyberpunk again on the PC, and I just hooked up my computer to my OLED, and holy shit. Wow.
Yeah, no, there's something there.
The LG C1 pretty much is it functions as a PC monitor as well, because it's got the G-Sync, FreeSync, and all that stuff that a monitor would have, so that you could get the optimal performance out of the monitor or the TV or whatever. So,
I'm doing 1440p resolution on that TV, by the way, at ultra settings on Cyberpunk with ray tracing on, all ray tracing features on, and oh my gosh, that game looks incredible.
No, it really does.
I got a 65 LG C1 coming on Wednesday.
That's what I have for. I got the 65-inch.
Yeah, my wife doesn't think I know about it because she's like getting it because just as a.
So wait, which one are you getting for? I apologize. Which one?
65 LG C1. So she's trying to surprise me with it, but when you share the Amazon account. Yeah, I got a family.
It's like, I'm just gonna be stupid on this. I don't see that. Oh yeah. It's like, I'm just gonna ignore what I just saw on that because I know who that's going to. So
you gotta stand in the mirror and work on like your tears and your emotion and be like, oh babe.
I'll just practice for those polls that he come back and be like, oh my god, honey,
Oh man,
That's great. No, and it's funny because I witnessed a family member of mine has 60. He went and got a 65-inch. I believe it's they're calling it it's the OLED LG G2. It's the new one.
New generation.
And let me tell you guys something. It was like watching a painting.
That's the high end.
It was like watching a painting move in front of me. It was
that-
absolutely. It was disgustingly
if I had not
beautiful.
Just bought my C1 last year, I would have definitely grabbed that G2, man. That
Persona,
thing is-
let me tell you something.
Stay here, Persona.
Like it was better. It was
is
more
there
beautiful than the most Mona Lisa. Honestly, it was a gorgeous piece.
Hey Mooch,
Yeah.
is there an upgrade path for that if I bought the C1?
I'm not sure.
I'm asking for a friend. I'm asking for a friend. That's
Yes. You see one up on Facebook Marketplace. Hopefully, you get at least half of it, and then hope to God you can pay it if you're married, that your wife doesn't freak out.
I want to say
exactly.
shout out to Hammett. Is it Sakir? Thank you so much for the subscription. So many guys. I'm just mumbling my words tonight, and I apologize, guys. But I want to go to Persona here. Persona, I'm switching subjects because I know that this is going to get your blood boiling a bit. Maybe not. I don't know. I think so. So recently, Xbox and PlayStation, they've continued to throw, like I'm calling it, professionally orchestrated attacks at each other over the Activision deal, right? They're kind of subliminal hits. So shout out to the great
console Warren. I love it.
It really is. So according to The Verge here, the great Tom Warner, as I like to call him, Terrible Tom, he says Microsoft has claimed Sony pays for blocking rights. This is after Sony said that they thought that it was unfair that possibly Microsoft gets their hands on a large IP that's globally recognized like Call of Duty. Microsoft fires back and says Microsoft has claimed that Sony pays for blocking rights to stop developers from adding to their content to Xbox Game Pass. And I know the rest of it you kind of know. I can read the rest, but I would be boring the audience. Where are we right now with what you're seeing with this strategical back and forth between Microsoft and Sony Persona? I think the kumbaya, I think the candle is out of wax. I think they're done with the peace, love, and harmony. And I think that we are seeing what you would see, a competitive kind of battleground between the two now as we kind of go forward into the service content wars.
So yeah, I talked about this on Monday's show, right? First of all, that kumbaya shit's been out. There was never no kumbaya. That was a fallacy. That was the Matrix. You understand? I'm Neo and I'm out the Matrix. We are all out of the Matrix, okay? Pick up the phone. You need to go. But on a serious note, I think when it comes to what Microsoft is saying, it's bullshit. You feel me? Because it's like, imagine walking in on your wife with another dude, and she says, "Oh well, you didn't thank me for dinner yesterday." Fuck. Like, you're in our bed with another fucking dude. Like, what are you talking about?
First of all, I made dinner yesterday. Damn it!
You understand? Like, oh well, you didn't thank me for dinner yesterday. So this is my payback. I'm gonna fucking go. Like what? You get what I'm saying? That's what this sounds
like. I'm tired of you leaving your shoes in the hallway.
Exactly. That's what this shit sounds like, Eric. And my whole thing is, business is very cutthroat, right? I'm sure outside, because I don't know what Phil Spencer and Jim Ryan do outside. They probably are best friends. They go to Peter Luger's. They get the steak with the garlic mashed potatoes and the asparagus and get some red wine and wash it down. And they might be the bestest of friends outside of work. But when you clock in that next day, your job is to make the company that you work for money.
Right.
And Jim Ryan's job is to add more value to the PlayStation ecosystem and the PlayStation brand. How do you do that? You have to make your console appealing, which is what Microsoft should have been doing since last generation. I said this on my show Monday. When you look at the PlayStation 3 and 360 generation, going into the PS4 and Xbox One generation, if I was a betting man, the odds would have been in Microsoft's favor because they had everything queued up. People forget history. But back during that generation, and even during the PS4 and 360 gen, and even now, Microsoft has been doing marketing deals and timed exclusive deals and keeping shit off of PlayStation, right? I remember with the Persona 5 news of it coming to the next-gen consoles, they deliberately paid to keep the news from being announced on PlayStation for 2 extra days.
Yep.
How petty is that? You get what I'm saying? And here we are saying, well, we might be spending 70 billion on this publisher, but you told them that they couldn't put the game on Game Pass. Like, all this stupid shit. And it's like, yo, absolutely. If I'm putting millions of dollars into a marketing deal with a developer, you bet your ass I am putting in that contractual agreement.
Isn't it
Thank
business?
you.
Exactly. I'm putting in my contractual agreement. You cannot put this game in Game Pass until this contract is up. Absolutely. Because imagine spending $20 million on marketing, on exclusive deals and all this other stuff. And the game, obviously it's still multi-plat, but then Microsoft turns around and say, oh, well, it's in Game Pass for $15 a month. Why am I spending all these millions?
Why am I putting that money down?
You have to protect your investment.
And
that is what PlayStation did. So I have no problem with PlayStation doing that because that's business. Business is cutthroat. Business will eat you alive if you allow it. Just like what Microsoft is doing by buying ZeniMax, by buying Activision, by buying all of these developers and all this other stuff. It's business.
So Persona really. I was going to go to you. I want to go to you.
I was going to say, I just want to back Persona up because it's like the thing is, if you let's look at the housing market right now. It's cutthroat.
Yes.
Right? So I'm sorry if you have the little extra dough to outbid somebody else. You're going to say, well, I saw them at the open house. They seem like a nice family, but yeah, I'm going to go ahead and let them get it. You're like, nah, I got the dough. I'm putting it in, and this is how we're going to do it. I'm locking it down because I have a family too, and I'm sorry. That's just how the game is played.
That's right.
Right?
I don't want my wife to sleep with somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to say, you didn't give me that house. I'm banging your boy. Yeah. But it kind of goes back to what Fork was saying earlier. It's like people kind of work these things however it fits their narrative, right? And to back up what Persona is saying, it's like, and let's just take it from the Xbox side, and we'll get into the Sony crying thing. I see people saying that in the chat. Let's talk about the Xbox side. On one hand, people love spending Microsoft's money. They have the juggernaut pockets. They can buy and sell Sony 1,000 times. How is it that the broke company keeps bullying the shit out of the big company?
Right.
Yo, Eric, go a step further. remember when Redfall and Starfield got delayed? What was the first thing they said? Oh, y'all got to get Gotham Knights in Game Pass.
Immediately.
To make us feel better, you must do this.
Else? Yeah, like how is that fair to everybody else, right? If we're going to go down this route of putting keeping things off of something is good, I was paying to put something in there good as well,
right?
Compared to the competition, you get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's not going into PS Plus Extra and Premium day and date. So how is it fair? But you see how like when we play this types of semantics game, it's foolish.
Because people have bought into this thing, and I tweeted about it the other day. People have this thing where there's a good and bad guy when it comes to this thing, right? They're all mega corporations who do whatever they need to do for their bottom line because they have shareholders to answer to and everything else. And self-preservation is the number one thing that these companies run on. And for some reason, we know a lot of the reasons is, again, we said this before. Microsoft had to do whatever they had to do with that, where Xbox is concerned, to play nice and to feel and to woo their consumer because of how badly they dropped the ball last generation. So you're on the couch, wifey ain't letting you in the bed. You're gonna say and do whatever you need to because this damn couch is lumpy and it's cold as shit out here.
Facts.
I'm trying to do whatever I can to get back in. I'm gonna say whatever I can.
And wifey, by the way, wifey's walking into the living room while you're on the couch. Where
she walked by her panties and
something revealing. Yeah, exactly.
Like, damn, man, what?
You're like, what? I'm on the couch. You just like that.
If you fighting with her, she definitely gonna have on the sexy clothes while y'all
not the baby doll T. Come on, man. You're not
gonna turn You're gonna turn the AC down. Be like,
not the booty shorts that say pinky on it,
right? So the thing is like they're doing whatever they can, and it's to the point now where they have leaned so far into people see us as the good guy that they've forgotten how to, kind of be out there and be perceived as the bad guy. It's not necessarily being the bad guy, but it's like, do what you got to do. So let's go back to the Spider-Man thing, like on, being on PlayStation. People are like, well, Spider-Man is a universal character. He should be here. He should be there. Yeah, but Sony worked that deal because they felt this was the best for our consumers and we're going to work that deal. And people are like, well, that's not fair. It ain't about fair because if the Juggernaut Pocket company has all the dough in the world, but they're just deciding, well, that's not what we want to do. That is their strategy. As their consumer, you should hold them accountable.
Right,
Eric. But see, that's
you didn't ask for that. You're letting them tell you how it's gonna be. So everyone wants to defend and go, well, Phil is the nice guy. He does this. Phil could go home and kick a puppy. I don't know that, but he's gonna present himself in the best light because that is what you are wanting from him. That's what has seemed to work, right?
See, but that's the thing.
But they have the Juggernaut Pocket. They could go and get any. These companies will license whatever the hell you want. I worked in footwear doing licensing for Marvel. They will sell you whatever the hell that you want if you have the dough.
Right.
There was nothing stopping Microsoft from going and getting any licensed superhero that they wanted to make that game. That's just not the path that they wanted to travel.
Right. Correct.
Can I
real quick? My whole thing is a lot of people are mad at the wrong company. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not mad at PlayStation for doing what they need to do to make their console more appealing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at Xbox and saying, where were you when they were doing these deals?
Mm-hmm.
That's my question. If I'm someone that prefers Xbox, or if I'm comparing apples to apples, well, they were while they were in the boardrooms making these deals and figuring out how to bring more value to their console.
Yes.
What were you doing?
Right. They had the pockets to do this. They could have outspent Sony to get these contracts
they
done,
were,
right?
Absolutely.
Mooch, they were answering the power narrative because that's what their hardcore base kept screaming about. The power, the power, the power, the power, the power, the power, the power.
I've never seen a company as big as Microsoft and with the amount of money. When you say you're supposed to listen to your customer, maybe sometimes you're not. But that was one of the things. Everyone keeps on retweeting the Steve Jobs stuff. And Steve Jobs said it best. He said, sometimes the customer doesn't know what's best for them. Right? That's why it's in place for the people that are doing that to tell us almost what we can. I understand listening to your customer. That's a good thing. It really is. Right. But sometimes you can go overboard, right? Thank you. I appreciate that.
That was a good snipe.
Yo, I got news for you, man.
That was a good snipe,
dude, I'm jonesing for Modern Warfare 2, and I really want... And I can't stand these Resurgence maps. I'm getting so sick and tired of this, but I can't play Caldera, man. Caldera's getting me sick.
Can I...
Go ahead. I apologize. One on Warzone rant.
No, I know it was a great snipe, Mooch, and I always love your Warzone clips, by the way. But I'm seeing a lot of stuff in live chat that just is making my brain hurt. And I'm not trying to pick on Erodimus here, but he's like, how does blocking something in Game Pass value the consumer? And it's like, and I said, well,
it's not about valuing the consumer though; it's about protecting your investment. What PlayStation is doing is protecting the investment that they're putting into a game that they see value in and want to have synonymous with their platform to bring more consumers in.
How is buying ZeniMax and keeping Redfall and keeping Starfield off of PlayStation good for the consumer?
And let me just double down here.
I mean,
because
you go that way.
But we understand why they're doing it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because they're protecting their investment.
I'm playing devil's advocate with
No, but that's a perfect devil's advocate argument. Right. People don't because people have this argument. It's like, when Sony's doing this thing, people are like, well, that's not cool. That's not cool. And then they're saying at the same time, yeah, well, Microsoft, take Call of Duty away.
I don't.
Completely take it away, right? And it's like, well, which one do you guys want? If it's not fair over here, why is that? And then they look at you like you're crying if you say, well, that's not cool. I want to play COD on my PlayStation and whatever, but you can't have it both ways.
No.
Yeah. And that's my point. Like, I'm not trying to pick on Erodimus, but it's not deflection, Erodimus. It's that Microsoft has done this same behavior that you're saying that what Sony's doing doesn't benefit the customer. They are in the business to sell a platform or a subscription service in this case, right? They're going to make investments, and when they make an investment, this is why it's called a business deal, people, quote unquote, a business deal. They're not going to say, you know what, we're going to give you $10 million, and we're going to give you access to our storefront, so then everyone logs into the PlayStation platform. Mm-hmm. They're going to see Call of Duty, and there's value to that. There's value to that real estate, and Sony knows what that value is. Again, these decisions are made in jest. They're very much driven by data. It's like, look, guys, if you come to PlayStation, we have 150 million consoles sold, and the value of getting your game advertised for free, which means that Sony's going to push other people out. We're going to put your game front and center. There's a value to that. And if we do that, people are going to see your game, and that means that more people are going to have exposure to your game. They're going to know about it. But if we do that, we have to get something out of it. It's a win-win for both parties. Yeah. And to Eric's point, the part that really drives me crazy is when people talk about Microsoft being a trillion-dollar company. But then when Sony does... But when when Sony does something, it's like, oh, they're being anti-consumer. Sony's bad. I mean, Microsoft had opportunities to go to a publisher and say, you know what, we want you on our platform, but they didn't. They made the decision. Wait, let me just finish.
Oh, go ahead, Brad.
Microsoft made the decision that, you know what, we don't feel like going after this publisher and getting this game on our platform makes sense for us. It's a business decision. So it's just like this stuff about, how does it value the consumer? It doesn't value all companies in the gaming industry do this. And to the point about, like, I see people saying that Sony's scared, they're talking bad about Microsoft. If anyone paid attention to the Apple Epic litigation lawsuit, Apple was talking poorly about Epic in a way that made you think that Apple was afraid of Epic. No, Apple's not afraid of Epic. They're $1 trillion company.
Right.
Compared to Epic. But this is what companies do where they're trying to jockey for position, where they're trying to get favoritism from a regulatory body, because they know, again, we have lobbyists on Capitol Hill. This is what lobbyists do. Companies put lobbyists on Capitol Hill. Why? To lobby for things that benefit their companies. And what we're seeing is typically people aren't privy to this kind of like back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is what we're seeing. We are privy to seeing this back and forth between corporations, this jockeying, if you will, that companies do on a regular basis. It's not unique to gaming.
Right.
It happens in all industries, especially when it comes to mergers and acquisitions.
Yeah, you see
this isn't new.
No, this isn't new.
Somebody in the chat asked a great question, which I'm curious to know, and I'm curious.
Mm-hmm.
Why isn't nobody mad at the developers for making the deals?
Mm-hmm.
Notice how everyone is mad at PlayStation or mad at Sony, saying Sony's anti-consumer and Sony is, trying to block this. And
the deals with the developers or the publishers persona?
Yeah, the devs, the publishers, all of it. Like,
right.
Why is no one mad at Capcom or
for
Square
taking the bag?
or whoever taking the bag? And
persona.
Furthermore, where is this type of energy for Nintendo? Because Nintendo has tons of games that are released.
You know I was going there. There's a super chat here.
Wait. You know what's funny? Real quick. You know what's funny is that Persona's right. Like, no one. It's again business deal, an agreement between two parties, which means that the developers have to agree to it. No one's bringing up the developers. Nintendo does this all the time.
Yep.
Xbox has had parity clauses for the Xbox.
Oh, I remember those last gen. Oh my god!
Remember the parity clauses? Like, this is not
couldn't be better on one console over the other. Oh my god!
Yeah, Microsoft had parity clauses.
Forget their history, bro. Like,
Phil.
You kidding me?
Well, Persona. Some people just got here this gen. So
some people.
I didn't want to say it, Eric, but yeah.
Now some people are new to it. Yeah, but and again, I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, that people are like really kind of. I think people are blowing this out of proportion. It's a nothing burger. This is just what happens.
It really is. Well,
it's not.
And I promised C-Man I would get back to it. C-Man, we're still going to get to your other question when which is coming up. But C-Man just added another super chat. He says Sony went dirty, forcing devs to have to come back to them once their deal was over with the right to match a competitor's future deal. Then Marquise is down here in the chat, and this really kind of gets me. He goes, Mooch, Microsoft was saving money to make the deals that they just made. A real investor knows when it's time to invest. Sony obviously made the wrong investments. Now they're begging for dear life. Marquise, Marquise, you are, and don't get me wrong, buddy, you have every right to feel that way, so don't let me change your mind, really. But in all honesty, you're listening to some sort of nonsense out there. Sony's not begging for anything.
Mooch, that's called conjecture.
That's conjecture.
It really is.
It's crazy. It's crazy how people like to say, "Oh, Persona, you're a fanboy." That was some of the most fanboy shit I have ever heard in my life, bro. Like, let's look. Like, this is like, listen. When it comes to these types of conversations, especially if we're talking about business, right? Because yes, they're doing this back and forth, right? But at the end of the day, it's about the dollar. Right?
Yes.
We have to be able to approach these conversations.
Yes.
Objectively. Does not matter what you prefer.
That's right.
We have to look at
your preference out of it. Take your preference out of it.
And looking at this on the with the Call of Duty situation, Call of Duty is bigger than most things in the industry, and not just on the PlayStation side. In general,
right?
There are very, very, very few games that can generate the sales, the money, the hype, all of it yearly.
That's right.
Successfully and for over a decade. when you're looking at something like that, Call of Duty is not a game anymore.
Think about what Persona
it's
just
a
said.
culture.
Call of Duty really is a phenomenon, right? Over the past
Culture.
20 years, it is charted in the top 10 over and over and over again, if not the top 3 in certain years. I think Modern Warfare 2 is going to kill it, by the way.
Go a step further. Go a step further, Mooch. In terms of all-time sales for games, you know what the list is? It's Tetris, Mario, and then COD.
COD.
Are you kidding me?
Wow.
Tetris and Mario have been out for well over 3 to 4 decades.
Wow.
And you're telling me a game that's only been out since 2001? Or 2003?
Yeah.
That's when it started?
Yeah.
Is sitting in the number 3 spot?
That is extremely impressive.
Call of Duty has ascended past just being a game. It is a culture.
Yeah.
And with what it is now, it's big, man. Pause.
Yeah.
And I'm a big COD player, so like
I love COD, man.
Right.
Honestly, I really do. And and it's funny because I want to like Persona just said, we've got to be objective here. You've got to take your personal favorites out of this, and I'll do that right now. Microsoft doing what they're doing with Bethesda, okay? And they have Starfield and they have Redfall. Those are not going to be on the PlayStation platform, and rightfully so. Right? They bought it. They're done. If Sony's doing these deals and they're saying these games can't go on that platform, it's a less expensive way, right? It didn't cost them, $7-8 billion to do it, but it's their way of saying that's how they're going to compete with a company that they can't go and outbuy, right? They can't outbuy Microsoft, so this is how they're attacking it.
Listen, Mooch, at the end of the day, at the end of the day, no one should be looking at PlayStation and saying, why were you making these deals? You need to be looking at Microsoft and ask, where were you when these deals were being made?
Yeah. Yeah, where were you?
That's the questions that need to be asked. Never mind this, PlayStation is doing to keep these games off. If you're truly trying to grow Game Pass and make it into what it is now, make it to what it is in the future, what you see it to be, you need to be in every deal, in every boardroom, saying, hey, we want this game on there. 100 million, here, take it. If you really want to do that, you're buying these publishers because you clearly are trying to do that. So you're going even a step further than what PlayStation was doing. But PlayStation is doing what they felt was best to bring that quality to their ecosystem. And look, when it comes to most franchises now, not every single one, but there are a lot of games that come out now that are very synonymous with PlayStation. Fighting games are very synonymous with PlayStation. Shooters synonymous with PlayStation. MMOs outside of PC, obviously synonymous with PlayStation. Action adventure, sports, all this stuff is synonymous with PlayStation now. So what they were doing last generation worked because look where they are now.
It does work. If it's, it's the old expression, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Carlos Crespin says, looks like not all devs believe in day and date if they were willing to accept payment from Sony. Carlos, great point on that. Go ahead, Fork.
Someone throw out in chat Minecraft. Just FYI, Persona's right. Minecraft has 240 million sales. Call of Duty is at 400 million copies. So, yeah, you need to make sure you're Googling stuff right when you come out with facts.
Yeah, what were the two numbers again, Fork? I apologize.
Well, no, someone in chat said that Minecraft is over 240 million, basically saying that, Persona's numbers were wrong. And you're right, Minecraft has outsold Call of Duty. If you take each Call of Duty separately, if you take Call of Duty as a whole, it's sold 400 million copies.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't like to toot my own horn, but when I speak facts. You understand? I never speak out my ass. I'm well educated in the shit that I speak on.
Can I just say something real quick? I'm actually really confused here. I don't know if
what's the question, BRAP?
So it's like I'm not trying to pick on Rodimus here, but he's like saying that this doesn't help the consumer. And I asked him a question, like he's talking about like preventing games to go into Game Pass, whatever the case is. He's saying that hurts the consumer, and I'm like, well, it hurts if you're saying consumer,
though. That's what consumer does it hurt.
Well, it doesn't. It doesn't. It hurts a specific consumer. It doesn't hurt all consumers. But that's a great point. But my point is, if your argument is, Rodimus, if your argument is that withholding content hurts the consumer, then you should be angry about Microsoft buying Bethesda because they had IPs that were multiplat, historically multiplat, that aren't going to be multiplat anymore, and you can't say it's a whataboutism. Like I don't like, and like, and I'm wondering, like, if you've been gaming a long time, because this type of behavior in the industry is not uncommon. Like, what is happening here? What is happening here?
Can I jump? Can I jump in?
Let me just say this, and I'm gonna shut up like for a long time. With all due respect, I think he's trying to use the consumer to bolster his argument, but really what he wants to say is what PlayStation doing hurts Game Pass. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
Like, don't bring the consumer into this, because consumers are going to go
and persona. That's what my point was going to be. Is don't get mad at like other companies for doing what they think is better for their bottom line, because as a consumer, you've acquiesced to everything Microsoft has wanted to do.
Yeah. Because
people throw out there, well, remember this? Like, Mooch, you remember this? Back in the day, you know, when like Phil took over, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many years was it after that when things weren't being delivered and people were getting aggravated? And what they kept saying? Well, those were Matric deals, and next E3 is going to be the one
that's Donnie D's fault.
Right. We're in what, 2020 or 2022, and people are still bringing up Matric.
Yeah.
Right. And they're going, well, when Microsoft was doing those kind of deals, that was under Matric. But the fact of the matter is, no Xbox hardcore fan had a problem with it at that time. And then when Phil took over and Phil started going with the whole, well, yeah, we're seen as the good guys, so we're going to continue going down that path. And it kind of started around the Tomb Raider thing, I believe, when that kind of blew up in their face. It was sort of like, well, we don't want to do that. We don't want to keep things away. We don't want to. And it's like, and then nobody else spoke Phil except for Xbox fans, right? You don't understand what he's trying to say when he talked about single player games. And like Persona said, they decided not to go that route because they wanted to sell to you that single player games really weren't worth it. Right? They didn't save them all. So again, you acquiesce to everything that Microsoft wanted to do from 2013 all the way up to now, and now Game Pass is a thing, and now everybody's pushing the Game Pass narrative.
Well, Eric, you know why that not your logic, I'm saying what Erodimus is saying is, why that logic doesn't work is because, okay, what PlayStation did hurts consumers or hurts Game Pass, right? So Elden Ring, that ain't going to Game Pass. Gotham Knights looks like it's not going to. What about every other game that has released that does not go into Game Pass? Does that hurt consumers as well? Does that hurt Game Pass as well? You get what I'm saying?
And are those games not and Persona, are those games not going into Game Pass because Sony has deals with all of them?
Exactly. You get what I'm saying? Like, we can't sit here and look at the cherry pick games that PlayStation chose to do business deals with and say, oh, well, these games and these games only hurt Game Pass or hurt consumers because PlayStation blocked them from going into Game Pass, but then not look at every other game that has released under the sun that is not in Game Pass and not also think or view it the same way. It's either everything is bad or nothing is. In this regard, this is a black and white situation. Either it's all going to be anti-consumer or hurt consumers or none of it. And clearly it's not hurting consumers because Elden Ring is at 15 million. God of War is about to break the bank. Hogwarts Legacy, when that releases, is going to break the bank. COD is about to sell like crazy. FIFA, Madden, 2K, GTA 6, and all these other great games, Spider-Man 2, and all these other great games that are releasing. I would even say Starfield, right? Because of the name that's behind it, would sell even if it wasn't in Game Pass. So to say that, oh, Game Pass or this hurts consumers, cut it out. Cut the cap, all right?
Cut the cap. I just, this is, yeah, go ahead.
I think the problem is too many people think they understand what anti-consumer is when they don't. They just like to throw the word around.
Thank you, Fork.
Exactly.
Thank you, Fork.
We're friends now, Fork. We're friends. We are friends. Thank you.
Dude, it pisses me off because people will throw it out there. It's anti-consumer. I'm like, how's it anti-consumer? Game Pass? Okay, guess what? When you go to a steakhouse and you have a ribeye and you have a filet mignon and a T-bone, guess what? That's Game Pass. That's not Game Pass. That's PlayStation. Guess what? Just because you're eating ribeye and Mooch is eating T-bone steak doesn't mean anything.
Right.
People can eat different things. It doesn't mean anything. It's all what they want. The thing that shocks me the most, and Persona was talking a little bit, and I wanted to like hit on it, was everyone seems to think like PlayStation and Xbox, they think they're the hooker that loves them. They don't give a damn about you. What they care about is, at the end of the day, is guess what? I made enough money to where the stockholders aren't going to fire my ass. That's what it comes down to. It does not come down to you spending $70 or whatever. It comes down to whether or not Phil Spencer and Jim Ryan are keeping their jobs. That's what all this comes down to.
Self-preservation for it.
Yeah. Now, does it help that? Oh yeah, Eric bought the game, and Persona bought the game, and Persona bought Game Pass. Oh yeah, it helped. Who cares? It comes down to I have a job, and my family can go to Cuba tomorrow. That's what it comes down to. So stop thinking the hooker loves you. She don't love you. She just wants your money, and she's gonna tell you anything you want to hear as long as you keep dropping that money.
Yes.
Well, that stripper keeps looking at me.
Exactly. And when the wife walks in, she's gonna beat the hell out of you. She is not gonna have a threesome. It is not gonna end well.
I want to go. I want to go to that strip club in Fort Lauderdale that was like built in a Costco.
Oh, Tootsie's? Yeah.
Wait. There's a strip club the size of a Costco?
Yeah, they literally took an old Costco and made it a strip club.
Now, can I order the strippers in bulk?
Apparently you drive around a golf cart, right? Is it like you drive around a golf cart or something?
Well, before
no, the golf cart, but that's where I had my bachelor party there.
That's out. I wish I knew you back then. Listen, I gotta tell you something. Here's the thing. I'm gonna go to TrueWiddy's super chat here, but then I want to go to Eric for the part 2 of this question. TrueWiddy says, "Did we forget Microsoft said legacy titles will still come when it comes to ZeniMax Bethesda, but Elder Scrolls 6 won't? Xbox will change their tune after the buyout." I think when it comes to the Activision deal, there's going to be a little bit more in writing and a little bit more clear cut before Microsoft can just change their mind. I could be wrong, but I think that's what all these negotiations are alluding to. So, I'll go to my part 2 here, and it kind of touches a little bit on what TrueWiddy was saying, but not entirely. There was the first part of this before, now the blocking, the Sony getting into the blocking, all that Microsoft retaliated with. Originally, this started with it's unfair conditions, Sony said, because COD being the global recognized game that it is. I think we went over that. Persona showed he spoke of the numbers. It's a very large game. Everybody knows it's a household name. Do you think, this was my thing, people said Sony shouldn't do that, and that's why you see some of the guys in the chat right now going, Sony's scared. It's not about scared. These guys know that it does give a leg up or advantage, and everyone goes, well, when you buy something, it's supposed to be an advantage. I get that. Everybody gets that. But that's why these hearings are taking place, in a sense. Sony's being vocal right now. I don't think they want Game Pass day and date with new Call of Duty. Not only do they want it to stay on their console, but I think they're also pushing for new Call of Duty games will be able to go into I'm making this part up. Go into Game Pass 12 months later. So all of the old CODs can all go in there the minute they acquire Activision. But let's say they acquired Activision tomorrow. Modern Warfare 2 wouldn't go into Game Pass till next October. I think Sony's trying to say that it is such an unfair advantage. Now, whether you guys agree with that or not, that's fine. Now, wait. But the question to E is, isn't this the time Sony's supposed to be doing this? Because when the deal's over, it's speak now or forever hold your peace. So,
Mooch, can I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I just want to add some context here. It's people are forgetting one point is that Sony was asked their opinion on this matter.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So shouldn't they air their opinion? I mean, I don't think they're wrong for that.
And so these things are carefully crafted by the corporate legal team.
Yes.
And so these things aren't done in jest. Yes. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Eve. I'm sorry. I just want to point that out.
That's a great point. And again, I'm just gonna ask this question for the people who keep saying, "Well, Sony's scared." What does that change? What does that mean? Like, honestly, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Because as a company, yeah, they're not lying. That COD, like Persona said, it's a culture thing. It's like in a lot of ways, like they say, like in India, Counter-Strike is life, right? And Call of Duty is life, like in North America. The Call of Duty is huge. That is a big deal. So I guarantee you, if the shoe was on the other foot, and you guys would probably disagree, but I 100% will say this: if the shoe was on the other foot, and this was Sony trying to get this kind of deal done, Microsoft will be saying the same exact thing.
Absolutely, and I think they would have the right to also question it.
You can call that a whataboutism, you can call it whatever.
I think Microsoft would have the right to ask as well.
Well, Eric, right. we have an example of that. Microsoft downplayed the acquisition of Call of Duty to their questionnaire by the New Zealand regulatory body, where Microsoft said, Call of Duty's not really that big of a deal.
Yeah, again, you're spending billions of dollars for something that's not a big deal.
Yeah, Microsoft downplayed Microsoft downplayed COD to New Zealand. Again, this is what you expect companies to do. It's not that they're scared. It's funny, people talk about, they're scared they're going to lose a marketing deal.
Enrique, let's call it what it is. Saying Sony is scared is a YouTuber talking point. This is a bunch of people
absolutely
who
is,
are watching
yeah.
YouTubers and going like, yeah, it's the tribalism part of it.
The great,
No, absolutely
the
is.
great Noof Nukem comes in and he said, I'm going to give Noof a moment here. I'm going to read what because Noof couldn't get into the show. I appreciate Noof staying with us here. He says, Sony isn't worried about their games doing well. He said, Sony's concerned that Microsoft has changed the business model for how gamers consume games. And that's a good point. This is what I'm trying to say. This is their time to grieve, if you will. This is their time to say, I have an objection. People are like, well, Sony's scared. Well, if they don't speak up now and the deal goes through, people are going to go, why didn't you talk about it before? When you know, the FTC and there was review going on. You're going to talk about it after it closes? Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean...
And again, Enrique was having this battle about conjecture and saying, where is the data that says that, you know, it's completely changing the game? Because again, no company is allergic to money. So if it's really changing the game that way, don't you think Sony will be talking day and date and all these other different things that people are throwing out there?
I mean, one thing that I think people forget is Sony makes money off every single thing you buy in Call of Duty. I don't know the exact percent. Someone does. That's awesome. But I want to say it's like, yeah, so I was going to say like 20 or 30%. So when you buy a $50 fucking pack on Call of Duty on PlayStation gets 30% of that cut. So if Call of Duty, which once again, 400 million copies in the last 19 years, you know, if that's not going to PlayStation, they're not losing the game. They're losing a ton of money with it. So yeah, they're going to say, "Oh yeah." So yeah.
Well, Activision already confirmed. Well, excuse me, Microsoft confirmed that even after the contract, like, and this is like recent, in those same documents to Brazil, they confirmed that, you know, that Call of Duty would not be profitable without PlayStation.
Well, yeah, you're cutting out a third of the market
instantly.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
more than that.
You know, Call of Duty's market, Call of Duty's online market. Let me
shoot myself in the foot. A $68 billion deal. They're not going to cut a third. And you know, I guarantee it's probably more than a third.
More than a third on PlayStation,
because I'm literally just doing 3 consoles. Yeah, so I mean, you're doing computer, Xbox, PlayStation 3. So if you even do a third or whatever, you're not going to cut a third of your money out trying to make $68 billion back.
So this is CMAD. By the way, CMAD, I totally agree with you. This is what I was saying on BRAP on Wednesday night. Why does everyone feel this? And I will get to the other super chats in a second, but this is really relevant to right there. Why does everyone feel
can I, when you finish reading it, can I answer this?
Absolutely.
But Mooch, I've argued this point. I think Jeff Grubb might agree with me, by the way.
All right, let me hear Persona, then I'm going to hear you, Brad. But CMAT says, why does everyone feel this Activision deal is all about COD? King brings in more revenue. There is much more to this deal than COD. I agree with that, and that's why I think if Sony really puts their foot down on a couple of key things with Call of Duty, Microsoft might even oblige, because I don't think they're going to make money on this game anyway every time someone buys it on PlayStation. So they may kind of agree to a few things. They just want this deal to go through for King and a lot of the other IP and the staff. Go ahead, though, Persona.
So to that point, when it comes to King is mostly mobile focused.
That's right.
PlayStation is focusing on the console business because that is where they're making a very extremely large sum of their money. It's their bread and butter. Butter. And when it comes to that bread and butter in the console space, Call of Duty is that cash cow on the Activision Blizzard side, where it's like that's where the pinnacle is in terms of PlayStation. It's COD. Yes, King is making that money and pulling in more revenue, but that's not the PlayStation has no foothold in mobile like that, where they would see that as a negative. Call of Duty is synonymous. I mean, it's synonymous with consoles. It sells the most on consoles. It tops the sales charts every single year, and it's the majority of people are playing COD on PlayStation.
Yeah. Brap, what's your take?
No, I argue this point when the acquisition happened that this is more about, I think for Satya at least, this is more about getting into. I got to remember something. Microsoft is all about Azure. What's going to feed Azure, right? That's what they want, and you know, and Activision has more inroads into markets where Microsoft hasn't been able to penetrate through mobile.
Yes,
and this is about them getting into those markets to get people into that mobile space, which ties into Azure. That Asia, South Asian market where Microsoft hasn't had a lot of success. So it's bigger than people are still hyper focused on Call of Duty. This is bigger than Call of Duty. If you look at the revenue numbers for Activision, we talked about this on BRAP, which went live this past Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern time.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, and which we were a part of, by the way, Mooch.
Yes, I was.
But you were there.
Sure.
I think Game Logic broke down the financials. I think he said something to the effect like COD is maybe a third of the revenue for Activision, and the rest is mobile. Like I could be wrong, but it's the point is the
breakdown was so in favor of mobile. The amount, I think he said it was somewhere around $800 million a year was mobile, and it was 360 or almost 400 million was the console.
It was basically like
those are rough
mobile's
numbers,
like
but he had the exact
I
numbers.
think it was mobile's like I think mobile's like 70%. Oh, you got okay.
52% is king.
Okay,
there you go.
52% comes from mobile. So I mean that's a ton of damn money.
The great Noof Nukem is here. Now, Noof, we are going to get an echo, so in between talking, just mute your mic, but it is great to have you here. Barely. It's like Noof's calling in on a walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
Let me read this super chat here because I do want to move forward here. We're running out of time. Kn1ght Souls, he says, and by the way, guys, thank you so much for these super chats. It really means the world to me, and we are doing a lot of giveaways the next few weeks, and we're changing the whole format. I wanted to do it this week, but the great J Matrix will be helping me this weekend. Kn1ght Souls says, are we forgetting Xbox paid BioWare for exclusive rights for Half-Life 2 and Jade Empire? What about timed exclusives for BioShock and Mass Effect? And Ducky, by the way, Ducky, also thank you for subscribing to the channel. He says, wait, did Sony not just buy Bungie? And I'm not sure, Ducky, I saw what you were saying in the chat afterwards, but I'm not really sure what you meant by that super chat. Yes, they did buy Bungie, but Bungie is going to remain on all platforms. And as of today, things could change. But as of today, there is nothing that's going to be on the PlayStation platform for Destiny that gives them any advantage at all over the Xbox version of the game.
I think people are worried that that COD won't be there, but it's like no, they said it's going to be on all platforms because like Persona said, Xbox has said it's not going to be profitable if they leave it on one platform.
And Fork, they also said that to the FTC too.
Yeah, what
Microsoft said that to the FTC. If they go back on that, and it's by the way, it's hunting season for tech companies at the FTC right now. So
what I really want to know what people think when they get the W in an argument, what it does for them. I mean, to me, I don't go into talking to someone to get a W because I have a life and I'm successful in my career and other things. So I don't need to win an argument of something that it's a game. Who cares?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, maybe that's what it is. They want to win that argument.
Anti-social media for it. It's like you have no bearing on my life. So what's the L? What's the win?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, okay, yay, you think you won. By the way, I'm gonna go talk to people that I have friends that are real. Yeah. By the way, I'm gonna go bang my wife while you think you have
talk to
one.
the people that actually matter to me, and I care about their actual opinion.
When I see people argue or even I get DMs, it's like I don't really care.
Right.
Yo, Mooch, can you hear me, guys?
Yes. No.
There you go. Yeah. There you go.
Okay, is it terrible?
No, go ahead. Speak your mind, because while you're good, I want to hear it.
Okay, well, sorry for everything, man. Technical difficulties. This Discord, especially using, it's just been an absolute mess for me, man. But I like all the points that people have articulated. I've been here the whole time. Man, like I said, at the end of the day, this whole thing it's business. Like you said, it's business, and you got to remember that. That while a lot of people are looking at Sony a certain way, you got to remember too that while they're still the number one sort of console in the space and stuff like that, you also have to remember that they just don't have the capital that Microsoft has. So they can't compete mano a mono when it comes to the big deals like an Activision Blizzard merger. So they're going to have to make smaller moves, and they've been doing them for a while. We just kind of ignored them for years. I mean, it's nothing new. Both companies go back and forth, and then at the same time, you can't call out Microsoft and Xbox and basically not talk about Nintendo, them being anti-consumer by basically, the fact that they have the most shitty-ass online service ever, the fact that they still charge you full price for their games 7 and 8 years later, just because they can. Well, exactly, just because they can. And I look at it, when it comes to consuming your games, like there's tire companies out there, right? You're going to pay a premium price for a tire. If you want a really good tire, right? You want the best tire to put on your car, you're going to pay the premium price. I don't see that any differently with the games market. I think there's a lot of Xbox guys, and some people look at me as an Xbox guy, but a lot of guys are out there right now, and they've just been so weaned on Game Pass that it's kind of ruined them from everything else, and I don't think it's fair to look at every other company because they don't do the exact same thing as Microsoft, that you guys are all the bad guys here, or you're gypping your customers. Again, if you're a smart customer like you say you are, it's up to you to speak with your wallet or not. So at the end of the day, that's all it is. It's all business, and Sony's going to do what they want to do to keep their business model intact. They're not ready to move in the same direction as Microsoft. Microsoft sort of pushed the envelope forward, and sometimes they do it, and it gets them in trouble. Like Microsoft tried to move the needle forward with the Xbox One, right? When it came to, let's do the live TV, let's do the picture-in-picture, let's do Kinect, let's do all this kind of crap. And guess what happened? It backfired, right?
Right.
Remember DRM move?
Trying to move the needle. Well,
remember DRM? That was the whole thing.
DRM, exactly.
And
they're always trying to do it. Sometimes it works out.
And here we are. Everything's okay with DRM.
Right? So you see what I'm saying? Now they've just tried to move it in a different direction, and they've done it in a direction that's very hard to call out because, again, it's so consumer friendly because we get to play all these games for this measly little price a month. And that's fantastic. But that doesn't mean your competitors have to do the same model as you. They're going to do it a little bit differently. Sony has the luxury of double dipping on games. I mean, if, God of War is going to come out, it's going to sell an easy 10 million copies without even breaking a sweat. They could sell another 5 or 10 million if they wait a year or two. They throw it on PC like you're seeing right now. They sell more copies and they get more revenue. And then later on, if they want to throw it on the PlayStation Plus or Premium or whatever as an enticement or marketing thing, that's great. Either which way, it's a win-win-win. Like it's just this is business, and people make too much about it. And I'm not condemning or condoning per se. It's just, but this is what they do, and I just thought I'd jump in my 2 cents worth. Like, there's every restaurant out there sells a burger, but some have premium burgers. You're going to go in and pay $15 for a burger, and you walk out going, "Man, I really enjoyed that damn burger, and I'll go back and pay another $15 for that burger." But you go to another restaurant and you pay like $4.50, and that's fine. If you want to eat at the $4.50 restaurant because you got kids and that's your prerogative, but go ahead. But the rest of us can't eat the filet mignon, right?
Well, you're right, but Noof, when it comes down to it, the reason you have $15 versus $4.25 is there is a quality difference.
Exactly.
And Mooch, like we said about Wagyu beef, no one's yelling at McDonald's.
There's no dollar menu Wagyu beef.
Yeah, no one's saying, wait a minute, I'm getting a burger from McDonald's for $2. Why are you charging me $15 for a burger? No one is doing that.
No.
And Noof just brought up a great point. Like companies, like no one is like yelling at BMW for selling a $100,000 SUV, and they're saying, well, wait a minute, Honda could sell me an SUV for $50,000.
Right?
Why did you do it like that? No.
Do what Honda's doing.
Yeah, like no, like you have, like I don't understand why people forget that the rules or whatever it is, the laws of consumer behavior.
And there is a negative that's going to come with Game Pass, like it or not. What's the one thing we're starting to see with services like that? In order to stay relevant, they need content, and they can't guarantee that every piece of content is going to be an award winner. It's going to be amazing. Those games take time, so you're going to get an awful lot of filler, and you see that now. Have you noticed recently when they show the games coming to Game Pass, most of us are kind of like, what the fuck is that? Like when Game Pass games start looking like the games of gold menu, you kind of go, oh shit.
You know, that Noof makes a good point too. Nobody wants to talk about this, but the last 4 or 5 months, when the Game Pass, we all follow Game Pass on Twitter. They're like, these games are coming to Game Pass soon, and I'll speak for myself. I'm not speaking for the panel or you guys listening in the chat, but most times I'm like, what the hell is this shit? I mean, it's not even good. So it's like, here it is. You have a situation. It is. Here's a situation where you don't have a big AAA game coming out till probably middle of next year. You know, all this year with nothing. The last game you probably downloaded that was a AAA game that you loved was either Halo or Forza 5. That was in 2021. And yet nobody in the news, where's all the news? Where's the media saying, I've been paying for Game Pass and I don't have a big game? I thought Microsoft was going to go get Gotham Knights. Everyone said that. They got to go get Gotham Knights. They got to go get this. Saints Row's going to be in there. It has to be, right? I'm paying all this money and they don't even have Cult of Lamb. They don't have any. There's nothing in there.
Cult of Lamb is only on PlayStation.
No, it's on Xbox.
PC. It is on Xbox?
I'm almost sure it is.
I thought it was only on PlayStation and PC.
I'll look it
Sorry.
up. I'll look it up. No, I'll look it up.
Man, I'll take quality over quantity any day of the week.
Facts.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Persona, I'm waiting for that game to come on Game Pass, by the way.
Yeah, it's on Xbox. Yeah, it's on
it is?
Xbox.
Okay. Why am I not seeing no Xbox news talk about? I'm sorry, go ahead. Buffalo. That's not this
you asked about the media. You asked about like where's the media
Persona.
saying this and that. Mooch,
yes.
We sat on your show during the showcase, right?
That's right.
And a big portion of it, we were like, I'm falling asleep.
Yeah.
I'm falling asleep, right? Go before the showcase happened. What was everybody doing? No one was tempering expectation. This was the one.
This was it.
What are your predictions?
Yeah, crap drinking.
Give me your over the moon prediction and give me your grounded prediction. And people were going in. Oh my God, we could see this. We could see that. What happened after the showcase? Well, what are you guys all bitching about? They told us what we're going to be playing for the next 12 months. I don't understand why everybody's so upset. It's like, because that's not at all what they set up.
That's not what we want to play. Majority of people.
By the way, guys,
like I said, it's
if you remember Microsoft's first big acquisition, the first big acquisition came a long time ago. It was a company called Rare. And what has happened with Rare since they've been bought out? Practically nothing. They've made a couple of games during the 360 era. Do you realize they basically made nothing during the Xbox One era, and they've only got Sea of Thieves to show for it so far this time around?
Yeah, but Sea of Thieves came out through the Xbox.
Yeah, but the point Noof's trying to make is they've had Rare for a very long time.
Yeah, but Noof, I will say this though, like Sea of Thieves is a very, very highly played game.
Yeah, my kids love Sea of Thieves.
And that's good. Yeah. But you're one of your biggest studios, one of your most renowned studios, and that's all you have to show for it.
Wait a minute. You know, didn't Sea of Thieves? When did Sea of Thieves come out? Was it 2018 or 2016?
2017.
I just remember who's Ares.
But here's the thing. You're right. Who's Ares? But here's my thing. Hear me out real quick. Yes, you can say that now. That's Monday morning quarterback, BRAP. That's doing well, and the kids like to play at fork. I hear you.
But it
launched half-assed. It launched empty. It launched kind of broken.
Mooch,
it did.
But
wait a minute. Why are we disregarding this?
Mooch, you're being unfair.
I
know.
You're
being unfair because it's in Game Pass. Okay,
I
know. It's not a full price game.
So what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to release a game and then it's good in 5 years. Cool.
But it did.
But it's in Game Pass, so it doesn't matter, Mooch.
I know.
The fact that matters, you're not really. You're not paying for it. So because you're not paying for it.
My point is just the whole point was I think for a company of their stature, it's kind of a crying shame that this is really all they have to show for it. Not saying Sea of Thieves is bad. It's come a long ways. But me and Mooch and Crap going to tell you, we remember being there at the launch. Remember, Mooch, when we kind of sailed on an empty open ship and was just going back and forth? Yeah. We were all like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, what are we supposed to do here?
I'm just saying, this is a sign that, like I said, this is where I've been calling it out. I said, something's definitely weird over there with their studios and getting shit done or putting a certain requirement on them. Like, it shouldn't be taking you 10 years to build one freaking game. Like somebody it's like it's a quality over quantity. And if that's what Rare status is now, they're going to be forever known as the Sea of Thieves update and season company. That's fantastic, but I think they're too talented and have a name brand behind them not to be making stuff better.
I don't think that's uncommon though from like games like Sea of Thieves. I mean, we saw it with Destiny. We saw it with what's the game that launched on PlayStation? Hello Games. What was it?
No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky.
Yeah. that's not like and that's why I would give a little slack to Rare. I mean, yeah, it didn't release like great, but it's much better now. And that's part of the games with the service model. I mean, that's what happens.
Well, games with a
right or
service
wrong,
model.
whether you agree
Rare has another game coming though. They have Everwild.
Yeah, hold your breath on that one.
That's actually been rebooted, by the way.
Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like they supposedly have another game. So
Persona, let's put it this way, right? Your kid will be playing that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
No, but you know what?
You got a kid?
No, we don't. That's my point.
He means figuratively. I don't have a kid.
No, I thought you had a kid.
No, my point is he doesn't have a kid. So by the time his kid's playing it.
Well, I was going to ask where I could send him the kid a PC.
It'll be like 12 years from
now.
No, so, I go ahead, Fork, please.
So, me personally, I like Game Pass, but that's because I got 4 kids and they play all sorts of damn games and whatnot.
Yes.
So, to me, it works. If it doesn't work for you, that's great. But the one thing that I love that no one seems to really look at is Game Pass is going to cost more than $15 in the next couple years.
Thank you.
And people don't want to hear that, but it's like, guess what? They're making all these deals. Yeah, okay, Call of Duty could be in a Game Pass. This could be. Guess where that money comes from? Netflix is not $9. It was not $9 anymore.
It used to be $8.99 for.
Yeah,
Fork,
it's gonna go up.
Man, we gonna have a play date at Chuck E. Cheese because you are my new best friend because you were saying the shit that I've been saying for a long time. Okay?
But see, my thing is, I like Game Pass.
No, I love Game Pass. I think it's a great deal. That a lot of people
these
think
people that are like, oh, it'll be $15 forever. It's like, what fucking world do you live in?
I told people over 2 years ago. I said, look, these acquisitions and stuff that you're going to be paying for that sooner or later.
Oh, yeah.
Trust and believe. You're going to be paying for that.
What is it you keep saying? What is it you keep saying? In 2016, $60 game costs this. Guess what it's worth now? Guess what? Your $15 Game Pass is going to be costing a whole lot more because guess what? You got to pay for that content. It doesn't stay because you smiled.
Well, let me ask you, because you really did a great segue for me there, Fork. I want to get into the Xbox, because we have enough time for one big main subject here, an Xbox Family Game Pass. And we got the great Jeff Grubb in the chat. By the way, shout out to Jeff Grubb.
Oh my gosh, please let it release. I have 4 freaking kids and myself. I pay $75 a month because they also play on PC. So
wow. Jeez.
You know what? The people that come at me that say Game Pass is $10, that's great. My kids have PCs also, and they play games on there, so I have to pay the $15. Well, and I can't do the game share because then I have to have Child 1 download the game for Child 2, and guess what? I can afford the $75, so I pay it, but at the same time, if I could pay a lot cheaper, I'd be a lot happier.
Absolutely. But now the thing is, and shout out to Jeff Grubb, is that we're going to look at people, if you do the math, and they said people that are trying it out in these 2 countries that are trialing it now in the Insider program, they said, if you do the math and everything like that, it comes to like $25 a month. I personally think it's going to be more than that when it goes commercial. I don't think it's going to be. How can you be at $15 a month for one person now, and then you're going to let 5 people join, up to 5 people join, and not even in the same house? One guy could be in Michigan, one could be in Miami, one could be in LA, New York, Chicago, and now now people are like, well, Mooch, it's going to be $5 a person. How's it going to $5 a person? So I think it's going to be more than the 25 people. I understand if you do the math, that's what it comes out to. But again, this is Insider, it's trial. I think it's going to be more than that. It has to make sense.
Well, no, I think what they'll probably do is, because base Game Pass is only $5 a month, isn't it? Or like
no, that's on PC. It's $10 a month base on console.
Oh yeah, no, never mind. I was
the moment you add PC, it goes up. And okay, everybody in chat that's saying home console, I guess you didn't listen to the rant. I don't want Child A to download game for Child B. That's a pain in the ass. So I just have them all have their own Game Pass.
Right.
If you have children, you understand what I'm getting at.
Let me further explain, because you have the 4 kids. I only have 2. Here's my situation. So I make my son's Xbox my home Xbox, okay? I still have the $1 deal on Game Pass. Once that $1 deal is expired, I'm not going to be resubscribing. But right now, if he wants to, which he doesn't, if he wants to, he can go and access my Game Pass, because he's my one son. He will go, he can go on, he'll go and play a game on Game Pass. With Fork saying he's got 4 kids, he's got to do Olympics to make that work. Okay, he's got to jump through hoops as we're jumping through hoops on this great footage that you're seeing right in front of you here. But
yeah, they each have their own console. They each have their own PC because they're homeschooled. So I'm not going to tell child A, hey, can you download this game to your console so child B gets it?
Right.
No.
It takes the fun out of it every time you want to play a different game. So, no. Well, Jeff goes, it does not have to be more than $25 to make sense. Jeff, you say this every week. Jeff says every week, Mooch, they can just withstand to lose money. I get it. Eventually, they're not going to want to lose money. It just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. I know they're farming people right now, so that's fine. If they're going to do the $25, I get the math. I did the math. It is $25 with the insider program. I personally believe it'll be more when it comes out. If it's $25 while they're still farming people, that's fine. But eventually, it's going to go up. It is going to go up.
What if it's $25 like the whole $1 deal? Okay, $25 for families. Right. So you, me, and other people are like, oh, $25, that's awesome. And then in 2-3 years it goes up. That's fine. Everything goes up. Everything has to go up. Netflix has gone up.
Everything
Disney Plus
goes up. Disney's going up. Disney makes a lot of money too. I understand they may not be as rich as Microsoft, but they're not broke.
But even Netflix only allows one other person.
Right.
Feel me?
I wouldn't be surprised in a couple of years if Game Pass ends up going up, yes, and then they'll have a tiered version of that as well, where they might even have an ad-based version of Game Pass where you get to watch so many ads before your game boots up or some shit.
If I watch an ad noof, I'm sending you a nude. That is not fun.
Did you see that
I got a question for Noof.
Disney Plus is going up?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. They're adding an ad tier in the whole nine?
No, Jeff, I'm not saying that's what you said. Jeff says everything goes up. That's not what I said. But every time we say something, Microsoft is, going to go up or something, like, well, Microsoft can afford to do that. We understand that. But they've been hemorrhaging money. Right? They have $100 billion between Activision, ZeniMax, and the other acquisitions. Like, they're not going to just keep on paying for this loss. Like, it's eventually going to go up. And if it's $25...
People don't think about that, Mooch. But
they don't.
You don't say $1 trillion company.
Because it's point. How much can it go up before people say, okay, that's just ridiculous,
right? And $25 for the family plan, that's fine. Jeff, I agree with you. If they're going to do that when they start, totally fine. They're still farming people.
What, 25 a month, right?
25 a month. Yes.
But of course,
for 5 people.
But of course, they're farming people. I mean,
they're farming since 17.
But Mooch, they're a loss leader right now, and Microsoft's okay with that. Like, they are doubling down on this service.
I know.
And so, but I do want to hear Arnold's take on this. I don't know if Noof can give us a take from Arnold on Game Pass, but maybe not. I don't know.
What are you doing? Game Pass is incredible. For those you haven't got it, what are you waiting for? The chopper? Come on, don't do it. Do it now. Come on. It's the best value in gaming. I don't know what is wrong with you. There's so many games on there. There's crappy games and more crappy games. And every once in a while, there's a really great game that you want to sink your teeth into. But that's exactly what I'm doing over here right now. I'm swamped with Game Pass. It's Game Pass or Game Ass. Get your shit together. Let's go.
Wait a minute.
That's a very good
He's the best. He's the best. But Jeff, here's the thing I just don't understand this. And I absolutely love Jeff's work. When Jeff streams, I'm always in the audience.
Hey, we love Jeff.
I do. I'm a huge. You guys don't understand.
Jeff is a great guy.
I am a
huge. I got a lot of respect for Jeff.
Huge Jeff Grubb fan. But he says everything goes up in price.
Jeff is a dying breed of gaming journalist, by the way.
But he is. He says everything goes up in price. I don't get why this is a talking point. It's a talking point, Jeff, because every single day, on almost every single show, it's the best value in gaming. And you're going to have the family deal is going to be it's going to be even better than the best deal in gaming. But the thing that no one ever tells anybody is these prices are not what you're going to be paying forever. And at the end of the day, the 10's going to go to 15, the 15's going to go to 20, and the 25's going to eventually go to 35 or 40. And things like this change. And then you take the rest of what we said today into account, Jeff. The rest of what we said today, that it is a year without, the big selling point of Game Pass was Microsoft's AAA games. It is a great value now. For you. For me, no. I was sold on Microsoft putting AAA first-party games in there. They're not there. And for everybody paying the $15 a month right now, They were told they would get something AAA quality at least every quarter. Remember that article? It's not there. So it's not the greatest value for everybody. Value is in the eye of the beholder. And we sit here and we keep saying it over and over again. If you keep telling yourself you're 6'4" for the next 3 years, when someone asks you randomly on the street, you're just going to say, I'm 6'4". You're 5'10", dude. Like, my point being is, it's not, we're just kind of, we're ingraining this into people's minds, and the product's not there yet. And once the product is there, here's my last pitch. Once Call of Duty's in there, once all your Bethesda games are in there, once they know they got people in there, that's when the price is going to go up, Jeff. And that's a newsworthy topic. That's what I would say next week. What's going to happen? What's our price to be, Microsoft, when you finally have your big ticket items in there? Are you still going to be doing dollar deals? Are you going to be doing 5 people for $5? Are you still going to have the $10 for no? It's going to go up. Well, he says, then don't buy it. But, Jeff, come on. We're doing a show here. You know, it's not about, well, then don't buy it. I'm not talking to my friend. I'm talking to an audience. You know?
So here, I mean,
I know I don't have to buy it. I mean, I don't have to buy anything. But you know what I don't? You know what I don't want to do? I don't want to buy the bullshit. That's what I don't want to buy. And we're all buying into the bullshit. We've had this for a very long time, and there's nothing in there that's really captivating with what we were promised. I'm not saying you don't like what's in there. Again, value's in the eye of the beholder. But we're tired of buying the bullshit. That's the thing. And I think that's the thing people want to see more articles written on. Both sides of it. We understand it's a value. There's value. I get there. But it is the value we were promised. And that's the thing I think more people want to see the media write about. Both sides of this. That's my take.
So here's one thing that I've found hilarious. How many of us here own PCs? I know BRAP does. I know Mooch does. I do.
I got a PC.
Yeah,
we got a PC.
Lies, Persona.
Why has no one ever written an article about the fact that you can no longer buy Office? You have to pay $10 a month now. Office used to be $60. You were done. Now you get to pay $120 every year just to access it.
That's crazy.
And yet there's no articles about that anywhere. No, it's just, it's that. What choice do you have? Well, you have no choice, because if you want to use Microsoft Word or Excel, you got to pay for it. So it's one of those things where it's like, hey, look, it's part of life. You pay for it. Well, yeah. So what's stopping Game Pass when they actually, like Mooch said, once they get ZeniMax in there, once they get Call of Duty in there, once they get World of Warcraft on console, which, mark my words, damn it, it's coming.
Right. It is.
Once they get all that, okay. Well, what's stopping it now that you have 15 AAA games in there from it going up in price?
It's going to go up.
Mind you, will it bug me? No. It's part of one of those things. Okay, if I want to play these games, I got to pay it.
X-Hawk says it's because the games got delayed, Mooch. Well, did your payment get delayed, X-Hawk? Did they tell you these next couple months are on us?
Nope.
No, they said AAA games, and there's legitimately right, and there's legitimately articles that
Where's my cheese and my cheeseburger, Mooch?
Wasn't it Booty that said we will have? Was it Booty or Phil? One of them said we're going to get AAA games at least 1 or 2 a quarter. Where? When? And yet we're still paying. These are questions. These are questions for you guys to answer for yourselves. These are not. I'm not answering them for you. And that's the point I'm trying to make here. And nobody says this. Ever. Every time someone does say it, you're hit with, well, don't buy it. Well, no shit.
Well, no, you're hit with this, Mooch. I just want to have fun with my friends.
That's a great line, by the way. It's a great line. It kills me. It really does. And all I want to see is due diligence from the media to report on both sides. Yes, we've gotten 75,000 articles on how great Game Pass is. How about now, where's the product? Where's the product we're paying for? If you go up and order yourself a number 2 at McDonald's and they say, we'll bring it out to you, and you're sitting there for 4 hours, right? And you're like, well, where is it? Well, it's McDonald's and it was really cheap. I know, but where's the food? It's coming. It's coming.
I love how people, this stuff's so funny, man. I love how people in the chat are just like, oh yeah, well if you have a problem, just don't buy it. But been crying for 2 years now over $70.
$70 games. And don't buy. I've been saying that all the time. Wait for a sale.
I love this gaming community because there's always gonna be endless content.
I know there's endless content. There really is. It never goes away. And like I say, I'm doing this. It's just and I.
Oh my God.
And shout out to Jeff. He said the point is weird because the solution is don't buy it. If it weren't that easy, then people would talk about it. Well, Jeff, the minute anybody talks about it, you get like bombarded. Like, oh, that's a bad take. Well, no, it's not a bad take. It's a different take. That's the problem.
I just want to.
It's not a bad take. No, I'm not saying Jeff said that. I'm saying, but that's what happens. The minute you say something that's different, it's a bad take. But it's not a bad take.
So Jeff says I don't think my audience is so stupid that they will buy something they don't want. I think they might, because people will do that because they're loyal to a brand or platform. Like I've seen that in the gaming spaces. I'm guilty of that. I used to be a console warrior back 20 years ago and waving the green Xbox flag. And I remember hyping up Reckless and buying that game, which was absolute shit. So yeah, they might, Jeff, but it's interesting. I'm seeing people saying, well, do they increase the price of Xbox Live? And it's like, well, that's not an apples to apples comparison. Like, is the cost to run Xbox Live the same as the cost to run Game Pass? Like, I don't understand. And I'm going to pick on you, Rodimus, because you said that. Like, I just wish people would kind of put a little more thought into that.
Yeah.
That's a little concerning. But I don't know. Look, at the end of the day, it's like this. Like, people are going to buy what they want.
Absolutely.
Prices are going to go up.
Absolutely.
Jeff's like, BRAP, you literally say every week that consumers won't buy $7 games they don't want. Yeah, I do say that.
Do not believe for a minute that there are not people in this community that think that Microsoft is the good guy and they'll never raise the price on us.
First of all,
they won't do that to us.
Microsoft is the hooker that tells me that I am wonderful in bed. So.
Well, I can tell you guys this much. I might not be the most devout PlayStation fan on the panel, but every damn PlayStation game that I paid $70 for has been fucking worth a while.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny because
worth the money, and I haven't sat here boo-hooing about it. They're awesome.
Moof, you're right. And shout out to Muna, by the way. He says, funny how Mooch says there's no value in Game Pass. I didn't say that. I said value's in the eye of the beholder. I said what I'm saying is for you to take and digest for yourself. For me personally, I don't have the value, but if you do, Muna, good for you. And like Jeff said, then enjoy the service. But what I'm saying to you is that when the service was first announced, we were told one thing, and so far we've gotten another. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you're not enjoying it.
That's the perfect case. People tune out when they feel like you're not saying what they want to hear. Like they don't hear what you're actually saying anymore. Right. So we've been saying this every time I've been on CrossFire. We said the same thing. Value is in the eye of the beholder. It's in the realm of the
Eric, you can tell me right now you love Game Pass. You think I'm going to call? I'm not going to say anything about your feelings. I know Jeff's enjoying Game Pass. I've watched some. Like I said, I watch all of Jeff Grubb's stuff. When Jeff Grubb is on Twitch, I always check it out. He'll play some PC games that are just like these like niche little things that I've never even heard of. But you know what? He's having a blast, and I'm actually having fun watching him play them. They're good. They're fun games, and that's fine.
Choose an idea.
Mooch, I guess what drives me crazy is that like we only do this with gaming. Like
I know it's only gaming we do this with.
We make these.
Like, you said the other day when I posted that picture of Heat, you like, did I get the upgrade path? I was like, no.
Look, The Godfather just came out on 4K. I've bought I've purchased The Godfather like 4 times already.
No, right?
I didn't ask Universal for an upgrade. I wasn't yelling at Francis Ford Coppola saying, "Hey, where is my upgrade path?" Like what's like we buy water on planet Earth. It's the most abundant resource that's free.
Yes.
What are we doing here, people?
The commercial told me if I drink it, the lady sitting next to me will find me hot.
If I spray this little canister of chocolate syrup deodorant, body deodorant on me,
exactly,
it's going to be on.
What I think is funny is there's people out there that will try to make you sound stupid. Oh, you have Game Pass. That's horrible. It's like, well, do you realize I have 4 kids that age between 8 and 16 that play all sorts of games that I'd never play? but it keeps me from buying those games. So to me,
Right.
it's great.
Right.
It works great for me.
No,
But I'm also not going to say, "Oh, well, you don't subscribe. You're not a gamer." And I think that's the problem that we have in the community is there's people
agree,
that
Fork,
try
yeah.
to make.
Yeah, there's no one size fits all. It's
Yeah,
consumerism.
exactly.
There's
Guess
no
what?
Well, that's
multiple
every consumer product.
consumerism.
All
Yeah,
right.
but the problem is you have people that think. The biggest problem is there's people that have a damn keyboard and think everyone needs to hear their opinion when it's like, no,
Well,
there should be someone
Fork-
next to you smacking the shit out of you.
Well, Fork, here's my perspective, okay? This is my perspective, and what you said is 100% correct, and I'm all for it. Like, yes, it's great value, especially if you got families. From my perspective, as a physical buyer still, and I guess, again, I'm the old fart.
Let's get physical.
But when I walk into the stores now, guess what? I see like 70% more PlayStation options on the shelf than I see with Xbox. And why do you guys think that is? My philosophy is, and I've been told by merchandisers at the store, that they basically refuse to buy excess copies of Xbox titles because people are getting them, one, either digitally, or most importantly, they're getting them on Game Pass. So for a guy like me, I get fucking slapped upside the head every time I walk in because the market has changed and they're kind of saying, well, too bad about you, buddy. I guess if you want that game, you're going to have to find another way to get it because I'll have to go and get it on PlayStation because there's no copy in the shelf on the Xbox. You guys see what I'm saying? And it drives me bonkers. Yeah. Like, I'm okay. I'll play it on the PlayStation, but if I want to play a shooter, that I'd rather play an Xbox because my buddies are over there, but now I'm forced to buy a digital copy or I've got to try to get it through a Game Pass service. Like it's kind of dictated like the way that stores do business too, and it kind of sucks.
Hey, let me get the great Jez 7780s in here too. Fork, finish your thought, Fork. But
A.K. Fernando, by the way.
Would like to get Fernando's opinion on this as well after Fork.
No, I agree with you, but there's. Unfortunately, Xbox is more pushing the Game Pass, the xCloud, and so as a business, I'm not going to buy 15 Xbox games and 15 PlayStation games when Persona comes in and he was only going to buy PlayStation games. Okay, well, now I'm stuck with these Xbox games, which I now have to eat. So it's like, no, if Persona and E are going to come in and only buy PlayStation games, I'm going to have 15 PlayStation games and only one Xbox game. Because at the end of the day, as a business, I'm in it to make money, just like everything else. So for someone like Noof, it sucks. For someone like me, it works great. But there's too many people that think they need to pocket watch and say all sorts of stuff. And honestly, I really wish there was like a midget inside people's computers, so when they start talking or trolling, it just popped out and smacked the crap out of them.
My God. Did you say a midget?
Yeah.
They're called little people, man.
This is true.
Okay, sorry. A little person smushed inside the keyboard.
Shout out to Ryan Landis. Ryan was on. He was in the audience for BRAP. And we were trying to push Mooch Pass. You give me a chance to run Game Pass.
Oh yeah, Mooch Pass.
Mooch Pass is going to be great.
Mooch Pass.
So Jez, what do you think, buddy? You've definitely heard the rants. What's your take on all this? And I know that you had a couple of Grind My Gears episodes this week as well.
Not Jez, it's Fernando, by the way.
That is Fernando. Jez, we can't hear you. The Great Gaming Forte's in here as well. Jez, while you fix your mic, Forte, I love now. Forte, you said you were going to be a part of this show on Wednesday.
Hey, listen. I
Forte,
was
it's
out.
9:10.
Listen,
It's
my
9:10,
wife.
Forte.
Listen, dude.
No. Forte, you always say listen. Listen. Oh, Forte. No,
because that's the only
listening.
thing. Because that's the only thing I can say
Forte.
to keep you to make you stop talking.
Forte, no, it's not. You do the same thing to Slowmo.
Hey,
Every
listen,
time
it
you got an
sounds
excuse for
better.
something, you say listen. Go ahead.
Because if I don't say listen, you just go keep talking. And I'm trying to get
talking. Forte, because we know your game, but go ahead, sir.
Listen,
listen.
You get me now?
Listen, we hear you, Jez.
All right. I was out doing some stuff and I forgot all about it last night. And I literally just got home like 10 minutes ago. So,
well, that's all right, Forte. But you'll have to make it up to me next week.
That's code for playing Destiny. But go ahead.
Fernando. All right, I'm check. Mic check. 1, 2, I'm better now.
Yeah, you're good, Jez. You're good.
All right.
Yes.
So what do you think, Jazz? What do you think about this? I mean,
no, Forte, I thought Forte was good.
No,
either Forte or Jazz. I don't care.
Whatever one. Forte. No, Forte. Maybe Forte should go out.
No, Jazz is he's amazing, and he should always go first.
Oh damn! Wait, listen. Now, Forte just woke up. Get him. Let him in. Let him talk.
People in the community know who I am. Remember, so you know.
Yeah, they know you, Forte.
They know who Jazz is. They know who Jazz is.
They know you, Forte.
Where I might get, I don't know, man. I was listening to some space, and people was like, "Who the hell is Forte?"
Everybody knows who Forte is.
Everyone knows who you are, Forte.
Forte, this is my channel, and people are always like, "Get this guy who's yelling off the show."
Forte, I've had people tell me, who's the guy that presses slow-mo's buttons? I'm like, oh, that's Forte.
That's Forte.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll get when it comes to that. I'll take credit for that.
So yeah, the Game Pass thing. So yeah, you guys are talking about the Game Pass stuff, and again, I guess we're talking about $70 games and all this pocket watch and stuff. These are the things with Game Pass. I agree. I was hearing what Falk was saying. Game Pass, I feel, I think it's a great supplemental service. That's why I think the PlayStation subscription things, I think it's a good supplemental service to maybe get those games that maybe you missed. Or if you have kids, hey, go play the Lego games that are in that Game Pass. I don't have to buy each one individually. The issues that I have with Game Pass were the promises and the all-in aspect that Microsoft has not yet delivered on. And that's been the issue with Game Pass. And also, too, what I fear is the games that are all going to go through funneled through Game Pass and what they're going to look like. Are they going to be small, bite-sized games, snackable as they call them? They call it themselves, snackable games. Are they going to be bigger games and they just won't give it to you that way? They'll give it to you in seasons. They'll give it to you in some sort of alternative way of like, yeah, we'll give you this game up front, but we're going to add stuff around the back end because we can't just put this game like that we spent all this money to make in this service for a low price. Or like I think Mooch has been saying all the time, and we've seen this now with Hulu and Disney. Disney surpassed Netflix in subscribers, 125 million. Man, they're rolling in the money. Oh no, they're not. They're going to be adding ads, and they're increasing the price for us to pay.
Yeah. So
maybe when these games come out for Xbox, this lineup that they got, maybe Game Pass goes up $5, and now it's $20 a month. And because now these games are the games that we've been waiting for, plus they maybe take longer to make and stuff. So the issues that I had with Game Pass is that, there's day one AAA games, they are really been hit or miss. Like that's been the selling point of Game Pass. I think when Game Pass existed about a year or two before they put their first party games in there, it was just a bunch of 360 games. It didn't really get the traction. Nobody was really pushing it. It was when Microsoft committed their entire first party games day one, without really having a first-party kind of rollout, starting with Sea of Thieves, that's when Game Pass became the it thing, and Microsoft really pushed it really, really hard. And I think they backed off a little bit because I don't see Game Pass being pushed by Microsoft so much and the dollar deals and the aggressiveness because they haven't really had big content for this year at all. Like last year, they got Back for Blood, they had Outriders for a couple of surprises. Really, this year, they have not really had anything. And I heard, the recent Xbox podcast was saying that, they might not have any AAA for the rest of this year, day one. Now, there's not a lot, but there were a lot of games that I thought they would have grabbed, for, for some day one Game Pass, kind of like, hey, let's get people in here. Like, I can't see how it's being sustainable right now with, like, growing and not really getting those big names in there. And if they're depending on Starfield to drive all that, like my whole point with this one game, it's not going to be one game that makes Game Pass successful. It's going to have to be a lineup across the year,
That's
hey, real
right.
quick, Jazz, to your point, like you're talking about, like, if it's not for me, or you said something about like AAA games, like again, as consumers, we don't have to buy into this. Like we could just be like, you know what, we're not going to accept that. We're going to move. But I don't think this is just about, and I've argued this with the ABK acquisition.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't just about console gaming. I think
the
hyper focus on Game Pass is, well, what about console gamers? This is about mobile and
PC
expanding into markets.
Everything.
Exactly.
Yes.
So
global markets for them.
So that's where the streaming. So that is where they're going to, I think, really penetrate the market. Pause. And if it's,
you ain't got to say pause. You ain't got
But
shit.
just, but here's the thing though. Like, if it's not for me, you Jez, if Fernando's not feeling it, at the end of the day, like, we shouldn't complain about it. I'm not saying you are complaining about it. We should just say, you know what?
Look what Halo had. Look what happened to Halo, dude. Now I have complaints because that was my fear.
Wait.
Fear that 3.3 was going to do exactly what you thought they was going to do?
Dude, come on, dude. No, Halo 5. Dude, Halo 5, people were like, dude, well, I didn't play as Master Chief. Halo Infinite is just broken. 3.5 was better than Halo Infinite.
Let BRAP finish.
Halo ain't got it. It ain't. Oh my god.
I want to hear what Jez has to say about Halo.
But here's the thing. At the end of the day,
don't say my trigger words.
At the end of the day, if we don't like it, and I don't disagree with the Halo thing, as consumers, we move on. And that's what we do. We just move on. You
think we move on to what? Like move on to PlayStation?
Move on to something else.
Move on to a different game, he's saying. Yeah.
Different game. Yeah. Like we have options now. And the one thing I wanted to say this earlier, like, and Mooch, you and I have been gaming for a long time.
What game are we moving on to?
Well, I mean, I've moved on to other shooters.
After Halo, what are we moving on to Halo?
I mean,
what's coming out after Starfield? Like, what do we move on to? Like, there is no cadence for their releases.
Okay,
Perfect Dark, Fable, Avowed. The list goes on. What are we moving on to in Game Pass?
But Jez, I believe you're playing other games that are not on Game Pass, right?
Well, yeah.
I want to play. I got a PC. I want to play the Xbox games that I know they are making. I love Perfect Dark franchise. I want to see what they're gonna do with it.
Jez, there's a possibility that bar that you go to, that you want that nice Long Island iced tea, they might not make it for you. You're going to go somewhere else and get that.
They may not make it anymore.
Yeah, I'm not, trust me, I'm not waiting for them. I just cannot believe. My thing is I cannot believe the devolvement of what they've turned into from what they used to be. Coming on social media and people saying this is the best of Xbox has been. That's pissed me off. Because it's not the best of Xbox right now.
Forte just asked a good question.
Jez, what did they used to be? Please elaborate.
Oh my God, really? Okay, so just look at the Xbox One launch. You're telling me that Rise, Dead Rising, Titanfall, Sunset Overdrive, when they did Forza Horizon,
how many of those titles were first party?
It doesn't matter. They were games that coming to the platform that they found exclusively curated. They were exclusive. What are you talking about? I don't care whether. Listen, dude, did we care that if Gears wasn't first party? Gears wasn't first party. It was made by Epic. Do you want to call it first party? We played Gears 1, 2, 3. Did we care if Microsoft owned Epic? We didn't care. Phil said it himself. We don't play the studios.
But Jez,
we got games. Where are the games? That's what I want to know.
Last time I remember, Microsoft had 5 studios.
I don't care, but we got we got all the games without the studios, dude.
Because Bomber was out there spending. Because Bomber was willing to spend money, and then nobody else was willing to do it after that.
Who cares? We were playing games. What does it matter? We were playing games.
But listen, that affected us playing games at the end of it.
No, it didn't. We got the game, dude.
Can I chime in real quick?
We got the game.
So what did we get? So what did we get past 2014? Because you're right, 2013 was fire. Because because what did we get between 2011 and 2013? What did Microsoft
do you remember that holiday lineup?
I remember Microsoft gave us a dazzler.
Do you remember that lineup that they had? They had Gears Ultimate, they had Fable, Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and Halo 5. That was their lineup.
What did we get for? What did we have for 3 years?
After Halo 5.
2010 to 2013, Microsoft packed up the tent and said, "See you next generation."
Forte, can I chime in real quick?
Let me. All right, BRAP,
can I chime in real quick?
Go ahead.
Look, I just want to say, like, I understand what you guys are saying, but at the end of the day, like we do with other consumer products, we dip. And that's it.
But you
just go.
But you don't
They've been dipping since 2016, dude. What do you mean they're dipping?
Wait a minute.
They've been dipping. How low can you go?
BRAP, you don't dip when the game is. When the game is good, you don't dip.
I don't disagree with you, Jez, but at some point, it's like, we got to go as consumers.
What I'm getting out of what BRAP said is when my wife puts me on the couch, walk out the door, find a new woman.
Hey, man, come on.
Oh, Fork, yeah, Fork. And that's it. So Fork makes a good point.
So therefore, if they keep making consoles without the games, like, it's just like, what are you doing here?
Well,
Like,
been
that
Well,
was-
listen,
think-
so
I
here's
think-
the thing. So
I
wait,
think
They
wait,
tried
wait,
keep coming
timing
out with
it
new
quickly.
consoles. They came
So-
out with a 1X with no launch lineup, a Series X with no launch lineup.
Jez, I
How
don't
does
disagree
this
with you.
make
That's
sense?
not good. I
How
don't
does
disagree
this
with you.
make sense
Jez,
as a gaming
don't-
company?
Jess, I don't disagree with you, but I think at some point, as consumers, like we do with other products, it's like you got.
So
you
just
gotta decide,
don't
like,
say
what-
anything and let them
Well,
burn.
no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But
That's
I'm saying
what we're
is
doing.
no, I'm not saying that you do that. But I'm saying at some point you got to cut your
Let them
losses.
rot.
But I think Eric's trying chime in real quick. So go ahead. E.
Go ahead, E.
I'm sitting back laughing because
He
I understand
done lost
exactly
his
where
place.
this is coming
Well,
from. And
Thank you. Thank you. It
Like-
evolved, dude. It did. That's what grinds me up. That's what grinds my gears. That's what grinds my gears.
Yeah.
No, but
Right.
but E, but like but
My
but, you know,
opinion.
My
Hey, Persona,
It's the greatest
Persona,
soundboard.
I got a family of kids, but no, but really, like
I
think
got
as
kids to
consumers-
feed.
But as consumers, we have to move on. And I'm not,
need
and
a
I'm not,
lot.
and I'm not saying these criticisms
Well,
aren't
Brad,
valid.
what do you?
I'm
What
not-
do you? Hold on, like Brad, because you've been trying to
Yeah.
get this out for like 20 minutes now. What are you trying to
Yeah.
say?
Yeah, I don't get.
Like,
I don't get.
let's-
the
I guess we don't play. We play.
So he was like, can I?
Yeah, like I don't
I think he's saying I go mow the lawn or something like that. Like, go
No,
outside
no,
and
no,
play
no,
marbles.
no. What I'm saying is like I'm not saying these criticisms like I'm not saying like what Jess is saying is not valid. But what I'm saying is at some point we just move on. Like as consumers, we just
move on.
Alright.
Like, explain. Like
So-
I don't like. I've been quiet listening for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't get what you mean by move on. Can you give me like the summarized version?
I think
Where
what
we
he
go?
means is move on to PlayStation or PC. But
That's what I'm saying. Like, where we
yeah,
going?
like we
But-
like
but
Persona,
hold
we
on,
go
hold on.
elsewhere to get gaming content.
So I moved over to
But that's what-
PC.
but that's what people
Xbox
are
is still not
doing.
releasing their games on
But here's the
PC.
problem,
So
though. Here's the problem, though.
Like,
How
there's no
many
games.
people bought Xbox? And mind you, I play Xbox more than anything. How many people bought Xbox because of Game Pass, because of all these AAA titles they were promised?
yeah.
Well, how many people can then go, oh, well, I'll wait for them to come out. I'm going to go buy a PlayStation. What Persona, BRAP, somebody said earlier, it's like 20% of all gamers own more than one console.
25%, yeah, 25%.
That means 75% are stuck with whatever console they bought. So, yeah, me, BRAP, everyone on here can be like, oh, well, I'll just go play PlayStation or I'll go play PC. Not
But
many
most
people have that option.
More people
Hey, but
have a
Persona, my
PlayStation or a Switch.
Yeah, Persona,
Yeah,
my point is Persona, my point is that like when we don't get what we want as consumers, we go elsewhere. That's my point. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah, that I get
Yeah.
that. We definitely do go elsewhere. But just because you have the ability to go elsewhere doesn't mean you still shouldn't call out
Right.
or speak about the.
Oh, no, I'm
the
I
And,
don't
and
like
also,
to
too, if we go
I'm not-
elsewhere
let me
and
get-
Microsoft, listen, if we go elsewhere and Microsoft starts buying up these huge third-party publishers, then it's affecting us when we go move elsewhere. If they're going to buy these big third parties and be like, yeah, guess what? This is Game Pass, so you get maybe the campaign is now in Game Pass and stuff. So
Oh
now
my
wherever
God.
you go, Microsoft is grabbing your ass over there now. This
And
is, you know,
Fernando,
we don't know,
I'm
man.
not saying that we shouldn't like call these
That-
companies out for
and
not.
you want to know why?
I'm not saying
Brad,
that.
everybody's
I'm not saying
leaving,
that.
and nobody wants to. Publishers don't want to put their games day one in Game Pass. That's why they're buying publishers. If they just had to bring games to Game Pass, they could have done it in a blink of an eye. They used to do it in the early 20 when the Xbox One launched. They did this. They brought games to us. I got Phil Spencer's quote. Goddamn it, right here, saying that he has the green light. He could bring what his job is to bring games to the platform. Why hasn't he done his job since 2016? And he's buying studios and publishers, and the games are the lowest amount of releases that they ever had since their pursuit of Game Pass. And they had developed a service on everything based off of content, and this is when they have the weakest content of all time.
I don't know why.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what
so
happened there,
weird.
Persona. But you know what? It's funny because BRAP's. I want to counter BRAP's point though. BRAP, I know where you're coming from. I'm a Mets fan, right? Now this year they're in first place, but hear me out for a second. What you're saying is,
Hey,
is,
wait,
watch-
Mooch, I'm a Nats fan. You know
I
what I
know.
did?
Oh,
What?
damn. Pause. Yeah,
I started rooting for the Mets.
I know, no, but I want
He's
to use. But
he
I
went
want,
elsewhere.
but I want to
Did
use.
you
your,
move?
But I want to use
That's
your.
why.
I want to use
Mooch,
your analogy.
Come on, I'm a consumer. I'm like the team stopped performing. I went elsewhere.
Right, but it doesn't mean. But exactly. But guess what? That doesn't mean you're not a Nats fan, and it doesn't mean that you don't want them to do better. Right?
I don't want to do better. I hate them.
Well, that's right.
Oh,
That's a
damn.
bad example
No,
on
no,
Bradford.
no.
My Mets, I was going to say I want them to do better. So all these years where they haven't done well, yeah, when
No,
football
but-
season
but-
starts, I shift to football. But I still want my Mets to do well. But my point being here is I think that when it comes down to it, I think Jez kind of nailed it. Forte, did you get a chance to put your point in there?
We have option. We have a lot of options as gamers. Though. Like we can go like a lot of different places, right? PC.
Yeah, but
Sony.
Well,
but
the thing is, I do agree with them because as much as it's just as much as I go somewhere else, I still prefer the platform that I play on, and I want them to do better. And I want to see that maturation actually happen when they start bringing content and stuff to the system. So I do agree with that sentiment when it comes to that type of conversation.
Yeah. See, I mean, just look at their Gamescom lineup. How is that not insulting?
Well, they got
all these. Dude, they got all these studios and their Gamescom. They got Microsoft Flight Simulator, Grounded, and Sea of Goddamn friggin' Thieves.
It takes time.
So I'm gonna tell
COVID.
So we're gonna
go. Jesus.
We're gonna tell you.
COVID last night.
No, listen. We are literally gonna literally say this one last time because Microsoft, this is their problem. It's always been their problem because they're always late to reacting on the things they need.
It hasn't always been their problem, by the way.
No, it feels like it's been their problem more than it hasn't been because it wasn't their problem for 8-9 years. Now the last 12 years, 13 years, it's been their problem. So the biggest thing with them is they really never had a bunch of studios. They had 11 at one point. Then they lost all of them because they closed and did all this other stuff. And then they were literally just meddling around with 3-4 studios for half a generation. And they decided to want to play ball and say in 2017, 2018, we want to take gaming serious and we want to start purchasing all these things. It's mostly their fault because all of these studios they purchased, they already had content that was releasing. They had to get on a completely different development cycle to start bringing newer games. They had to finish outstanding publishing rights that they have for these other studios when it comes to stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Then you get hit with COVID, and then all this other stuff happens. So it's just a simple fact.
That's not an excuse for Microsoft, by the way.
No, that's not an excuse for Microsoft. I'm just saying, but this is just another reason why Microsoft is lagging behind as much as they are. Because if they would have did this back in 2016, 2015, 2014, we wouldn't be. The thing is, they haven't released anything of substance for most people over an entire generation almost.
Forte, they've launched
consoles though. Forte.
Oh, they launched a bunch of consoles. But I'm also going to say the thing I've been telling people for the longest when everybody was out here capping about that, and they said, "Well, I bought these systems and I expected this and I expected that." I'm like, where the heck did you expect that from? Because Microsoft ain't make no promises. They didn't tell us we was getting this stuff. Everybody went out and bought these systems on the hope and the prayer, thinking Microsoft was going to do better. And I kept telling people, say, listen, the only reason I'm buying an Xbox is because of the 3 people that I play Destiny with and the hope that, things might change. If it doesn't, that's my fault.
Destiny's crossplay. You don't need to sit on a console not delivering games.
Destiny was not cross-played in. Destiny was cross-played last year.
But you bought a console knowing that Destiny would play better on that console than the previous console.
I didn't. Hey, no, it didn't. What are you talking about? I went to PC I went to PC to play Destiny better. I still had to play console.
Yeah, because the update didn't come out till later.
It didn't come out. I was playing Destiny at 30 frames per second. Shout out to Ash and Luca. The only person I would struggle to play that game at 30. Oh well, listen, I was playing at 140.
A lot of people did with what they did.
Listen,
they went to PC because
I was playing 144 frames per second on PC.
Yeah, they didn't send their update out.
And I didn't come back to Destiny on console until it hit, until the update. But that was the main reason for a lot of people. But when people say, and I'm not saying this generation, because I do think the whole thing that they're talking about when they talk about the promise of, a AAA game every quarter, that was more the projection. I mean, I knew that was going to bite them in the butt by even saying that. They should have never even said that because they know they wasn't going to ever live up to that right now. They should have just said, hey, our promise is to get more games into the service as fast as possible instead of saying, oh, we want to get a game in there every quarter. Yeah, okay, well, first of all, you got to get the studios making games be able to do that first. So it's just a lot of messaging that they kind of missed on over the course of the last couple of years.
We have consoles like they did the console reboot with the Xbox One X, right? I think
Xbox One X, One X, they sure did. Yeah, why'd you buy it? Why'd you buy that system?
Well, because I thought it was going to get better games. It
You
didn't happen.
exactly. You thought. That's what I keep telling people.
Because Microsoft promised they were like, yes, they did.
Did you see a calendar of games coming out from Microsoft? Last time I checked, Halo Infinite was still like 3 years away.
Well, here's my thing. So real quick, when we're talking about it, and I wanted to talk about this, do you guys think Gamescom is, I mean, we know E3 come and go on. It's coming back next year. We'll see how it does. Is Gamescom now kind of jumped the shark here a bit? And what I mean by that is, me and Jez tweeted something out just short apart from each other. Is it now, right, from June, now we're in August. Are we going to now see from Microsoft 12 months from August? It doesn't sound it with the lineup. So if they're sticking to the 12-month rule, so now what are you saying? So from we're still not going to get anything till August of next year in the big AAA space? I mean,
they said the first half of Starfield and Redfall is the first half of next year in their physical year, which is June.
Right.
And Starfield's not June.
But you know what? I'll be honest with you, and I'm going to go ahead and buy that. I'm going to buy that, Forte. I'm with you on that. I think we're going to get it the first half of next year as well.
I think the announcement of the date is at the Game Show Awards.
Yes. Okay.
That's what I think
the biggest thing that really hurt them is the fact because it's hyper focused now because 2023 was supposed to be the year that everybody was like, okay, well, Xbox, we know that's when a lot of these games are going to start hitting. And that is still not even here yet. But the fact that they didn't give us anything in 2022 is the reason everybody's up in arms about, because 2023 is when it was supposed to kick off. We were supposed to get Starfield. Starfield was supposed to be like technically really the only game that people were really looking forward to this year. And then Redfall was going to probably just be that surprise game if people actually liked it. But next year was supposed to be like the start of what Xbox is doing. But people don't even look at that anymore because it's like, well, shoot, we didn't even get anything in 2022. So what happens if 2023, the same thing happens? And this is just a consistent thing that keeps happening. Microsoft just finds a way to like kind of disappoint people, even when they're doing great. They're selling systems like crazy still, but there's nothing to go along with those systems.
Selling S's like crazy.
No, they're selling everything like crazy. That stuff's selling. Let's be for real. X's, S's, all S's are still selling more.
What's the ratio?
Well, let's see. I
2 to 1?
I can only talk. Well, I don't know what. Maybe 2 to 1. I wouldn't be surprised because they get more S's in store than X's. But X's do leave when they do get in the store. I'm
sure they do. Yeah,
so it's still no one really knows exactly what that number is.
Last generation was lost because of the lack of power. Then the X's should be the thing that people are buying because that would be. The reason why last generation was so bad was because the Xbox was so weak. That's the narrative.
The reason last generation was lost is because PlayStation came out with better games.
And what's happening right now? What's happening right now? This is the start of the next generation and what's already happened.
Well, 2023 is right around the corner. That means we're already 2.5 years into this console cycle.
Jesus.
Right. No,
it's not launched, dude. And they didn't have anything at launch either.
Mooch, like, what's funny is that Sony didn't have the marketing rights to COD on the with the PlayStation 3, and the PlayStation 3 actually outsold the 360.
Well, the funny thing
the marketing rights were PS4. That's what they started.
Well, no, the funny thing is
that's my point.
That's his point. Yeah.
No. The last year outside of now where Xbox has been very competitive with PlayStation was the first year in 2013 when it was Xbox One and PS4 because COD was still exclusive marketing to Xbox for the first year for Call of Duty Ghosts. And then the next year, that's when it switched. And then I try to tell people don't want to listen to me on this. Call of Duty moves mountains when it comes to systems. Like, not even just Call of Duty. All of these third party
in the US, by the way, in the US.
US and stuff. But all of these even in Europe and stuff, when you talk about games like FIFA and stuff, like when they decide to say that we're not making games for the older consoles no more, that's when everybody said, "Okay, it's time for me to get a new system." And like, we're not taking anything. We're not taking anything away from first party because first party is the reason you buy the system that you want to buy. But the majority of casuals, they jump ship when they know that the game that they want isn't available on that system. Then they just kind of migrate to the next version of that system that they want to play on.
Yeah,
and that's what kind of happens.
Forte, who's the market leader right now?
PlayStation is, of course.
No,
Satya says it's Xbox.
No, they're not. Forte. No, Nintendo is.
Oh, I keep forgetting that. Well, guess what? But Nintendo don't have half of the games that Xbox and PlayStation have that people in this community want to play. That's the difference. Call of Duty's not on. Call of Duty's not on. But see, that's the thing. Nintendo's completely different from that regard. And and honestly, it's so great to have somebody from the outside that you could kind of compare this all to, because it just lets you know that everything doesn't have to be so black and white. If you have your own individual content that people want to buy, they will support your system. It doesn't matter on any form, because Call of Duty. But that's another thing, though. There's more people that have Nintendos and Xboxes, or Nintendos and PlayStations, or Nintendo and a Switch. That is probably the most common denominator of all gamers or families in the world. They all got one other console, and they probably got a Switch too. That's literally the common denominator.
They definitely have a Switch too. Yes.
Nintendo made people buy cardboard.
Yep.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
And a freaking hula hoop.
Yeah.
And a scale.
I got a couple super chats here I want to read to you guys before we. I'm way behind you. Shout out to the great WoolleyGamer. It's like 3:00 in the morning over there in England. I'm kidding, but
Woolly's up.
It's late. But Woolley says, big YouTubers know NAF. Oh, it must be another term from London. Another no NAF. All about standard business. I'm back a little bit. So we were talking back about the Call of Duty stuff back. Ducky's here, and he says for sure. Look at Netflix and all other streaming services. They will go up, as we were talking about prices going up. And that's fine as long as the games that come with it are worth it. That's very true. CMAD says the average consumer doesn't see Game Pass in the same light as gamers such as ourselves. They see the value in Game Pass catalog, especially parents. CMAD, that's where I think things are debatable. I really do. You have Fork, who will agree with you because his kids are playing that. I've had Game Pass since 2017. My kids never use it. So
yeah,
again,
and my kids play a lot of free-to-play games.
My kids play Warzone, Roblox, Fortnite, Apex. Period.
And Rocket League.
Rocket League.
Yeah, and
Rocket League. Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying
the moment
CMAD's wrong. Go ahead.
Yeah, the moment I cancel Game Pass, they're like, "Hey, Dad, I don't play this game." I'm like, "Oh."
Right. Just show them Roblox or Warzone; they'll love it.
They're like two different ends of the spectrum too.
It's like Till my 8-year-old comes in and says, "Dad, I learned this new word." Oh,
I know. My son started playing Apex Legends. He's like, "This is so much better than Fortnite." I'm like, "Oh yeah, get ready."
It is. Jimmy, the great Jimmy Harrison. He says, "I know I'm late." He goes, "This is late, but I just picked up a 48-inch Sony A90J OLED, and damn,
oh, those are nice ones.
That's nice. Nice work, Jimmy."
I got the 80.
See, someone just did a nice little flex there with that super chat. I'm jealous.
Did I not get to it yet? I apologize.
The one you were talking about.
Jimmy with the he's flexing with the TV.
Dude, that's like a $3,000 TV right there.
Is it
yeah,
really?
exactly. I'm like,
yeah.
Damn.
The 80 is like 2,000.
And that's crazy. You're telling me it's gonna be upwards of 3,000 and it's a 48-inch? Jeez.
Well, 50. Well, no, maybe I don't know. It's got to be. Oh, a 48-inch? Maybe not. Maybe, but it is definitely up there. It's like it's the high end. It's their 890.
How does that compete? How does that compete with the LGs?
I think the Sony the way the Sony processing is I think the LGs they say are better for games.
Yes.
Because of I think the refresh rate or something like that.
Yeah, I have LG. Yeah,
OLED. The C2 or something like that. And then
Sony's are better for movies.
Yeah, Sony has better processing with the movies, and then taking like sub 4K updates and like making it better. Aside with that, I got the Sony OLED, but yeah, the LG ones. When I was looking between them, it was but I can tell you, man, they're both incredible.
Samsung's
TVs.
got the new OLEDs out that are pretty fire.
I'm sure Samsung makes great TVs too. You can't go wrong with either of those.
Well, it's about time they got the OLED and left that QLED
the quantum
stuff.
OLEDs now. They have the quantum,
Samsung.
The quantum OLEDs.
Mess.
Yeah, they'll pull that QLED mini array shit. Yeah.
I got that new TCL. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Damn, there it is.
Talk about flexing.
There it is. That's some flexing right there.
Shout out to
you probably have like two of them side by side for the price of one of those 890s.
Shout out to Oh No, it's Alex. He goes, "Let me get this bong rip while you guys all argue." Shout out to Alex, by the way. I spoke to
Is
Alex.
he playing Spider-Man, dude, on Steam Deck? I can't. That's incredible.
I might pick that up.
It better not be below 60 frames per second, Alex.
I did want to say
don't play it on the Steam Deck.
I'm gonna say something. That Steam Deck, dude.
But the Steam Deck is fantastic.
That was a pleasure. I did not want it at first, and then I got
know when you said
the
you
invite.
were gonna get rid of it. I was like, don't do that, dude. Like,
that. Like I got the invite, and dude, that thing has become like a real like lifesaver. Like talking about kids. dude, I can't get to my gaming station and stuff. I am at least I could move some gaming through.
But I did want to say I did speak with Alex earlier this week. Hopefully we have Alex on in the next week or two. We're just working scheduling out. But Alex, thank you for the super chat, dude. I appreciate that.
I do want to ask y'all a question though before we close this out, because it's something that we talked about on DPS the other day.
Okay.
And it was about performance modes and standard modes and stuff like that, and about what should be the new norm for like performance and, graphical modes and stuff, because it's always been like, if you want fidelity, that's always going to be 30 frames per second, and performance is 60 frames. But these systems can do way more than that now. Do we think it's about time for these developers to start thinking of like, performance needs to be something like more like 120 if the game supports it, and then the standard should just be 60 frames per second going forward? Because I've been seeing so many different, like, shout out to Skill Up in his review of Spider-Man, where he was talking about 40 frames per second should be the norm when it comes to certain games instead of 30 frames because it runs more smoothly. And I'm like, we don't need to go back to 30 frames per second. I'm sorry. That's something that just never to happen. It should have never happened in the first place. But I just want to know, just on the regards of, just what do we think these new baselines for like graphical fidelity and performance mode, what should they be going forward in your guys' opinion?
I have my opinion on it. For me, I'm not, I really think it matters for the game. Like, I think, to kind of say everything needs to be 60, you got to realize that graphical compromise is depending on the intensity of the graphics and what kind of like detail that they want. They're going to have to scale that back in order to hit those frame rates. There's going to be some compromises there. So like, I don't want a game to be compromised just to hit the 60 frames and they take away a lot of graphical fidelity. If they could hit both of those things with minor kind of moves, then maybe you hit the, I definitely think the 60. I'm very impressed though with what they did with Horizon and how they optimized a lot of those PlayStation exclusive games where the performance and graphical modes, you really can't tell the difference. So you go to the performance mode. See, I don't like games where it's like graphical mode, and then when you hit performance mode, it just gets fuzzy. And it's like, well, you're running it at 60, and it's like, well, and Horizon was doing that at first before they fixed, they updated. It had that like gloss and stuff like that. So I think it depends on the game. Like, I would prefer in like, knowing that it's a good like graphical stuff. I'm not seeing that fuzz or the lower resolution, and hitting a 60 frames, I think is definitely smooth. But if 30 is going to give you that cinematic feel and just that all that intensity and graphical features and the ray tracing that really stands out, not no bootleg ray tracing stuff like it's ray trace shadows or a couple of puddles here and there. No, I mean like, you're going to really like, it really changes the environment. Then maybe I'll go with the graphical settings, but I do think they should be targeting 60 in their games. I think that's what we should be looking at. But if they go below for some sort of cinematic, the way they're going to do it, like I'm not going to go crazy going 30, 60 frames or death. Like, I think every game, depending on what the game is, the intensity of the game and what the art style is going to determine how, like, what kind of optimized resolution and frame rate they're going to run it at.
Yeah. Me personally, I've always been a frames per second. I want as many frames as I can, but saying that, I also don't want to be playing at 720.
But that's a PC gamer then. You should play on PC regardless, no consoles then. If you need that frame rate, then PC gaming's for you because you could do whatever you want to get that frame rate that you want. I wouldn't wait for consoles to. Yeah, but I'm saying like if that's the thing, then
no.
PC,
See, so
that's the thing that drives you,
I want as many frames as I want, but I also don't want to be playing at 720. So
gotcha. You don't want to drive
I'm with you on the hey, look, if I can get at least 60 frames and I'm still playing, pretty close to 4K, I'm game. I don't want to play this beautiful 4K at struggling 30 frames with screen tear still.
And that's struggling 30 frames is bad. Yeah, like if it's solid 30 frames, that's what I mean. Solid 30 frames, maybe get away with it. But no, if it's struggling and for screen tearing and no. But 60, I think is. I said like the games they've been doing, dude. Like I can't believe what Ratchet, even with Horizon, I could not believe how they kept adding updates to the Horizon to make that performance mode like indistinguishable from the quality mode. Like I was going back and forth. I could not see the difference.
Well, that's because they started at a base of 1440p for the performance mode. It did a quality mode. It did the graphical mode, just bumped it up to like, I believe it was like 1800 or 1900.
Yeah,
then they scaled from there. But see, that's the biggest thing for me. It's always been, I will always be about frame rate. But
Yeah,
I also
scalable
ain't married.
graphics.
But I'm also not married to 4K. Like,
Hey, I agree with you. Yeah,
that's
like,
the biggest thing for me.
Dynamic resolution, 60 frames. There you go.
That's all I want. Like you don't have to
That's
give me a
it.
native 4K experience. Just give me
Exactly.
like BRAP said earlier on his like some people want to argue this point all the time. They want to say, "Oh, I'm playing at 4K, 30 frames per second. It looks beautiful." I'm like, sir, my 1440p ultra settings on PC looks better than your 4K monitor does right now.
Yep.
Because I'm getting all the bells and whistles and everything that's included with that. So that's the biggest thing for me. If they just hit and target 60 frames and they just didn't go below 1440p and gave me ultra like settings and stuff, or at least high settings on games, I'm perfectly fine with that, because medium settings at 4K, it looks sharp, it looks good, but it still doesn't compare to like a higher tier of fidelity when it comes to like all of the different texture qualities they can add into the game. And they can substitute, because you got to have the frame buffer is what kills your frame rate. Because if it's eating so much of your GPU power up just to hit 4K, and then you try to add on, medium settings and stuff onto these games and still try to maximize 30 to 60 frames per second. That's where they kind of miss it. I just wish they stopped promoting 8K on a box or 4K
yeah, they
on
gotta
a box.
stop that. It really is ridiculous.
It's 8K.
Mooch, it's marketing though. It gets people hooked,
Well, the thing
People
is, though,
buy it.
I mean,
that's for the TV people.
It's still only 55% of the world
gamer-
is tied to 4K at this point.
Gamer
Not even the whole world.
Gamer Logic gave the numbers of how many
Not
people
TVs.
adopted to 4K, and the number's still climbing because not everybody's at 4K. So to say we're reaching 8K is just
44%. 44% in the market's at 4K right now.
You know what's that game
For
called?
TVs.
Stardew Valley or Straydew Valley or whatever that thing's called.
Stardew Valley.
You talk about Pixel Academy. Pixel Academy.
Right, and
It's a friggin' 8K.
And there was one game that did an 8K and it looked like that.
Yeah.
I got a couple of super chats here. Magnum Visual says, just because there is a certain number of Game Pass subs, it doesn't mean they'll stick. What happens if Sony lures those numbers with their new games? It's not necessarily about their new games or charm. I mean, I think it's more along the lines of, I would end that question differently, Magnum. I would say just because there's a certain number of Game Pass subs, it doesn't mean they'll stick. What happens if Microsoft can't retain those people over these months where they don't have games? I think that's more what it is. It's Microsoft's job to retain them. Sony's always going to try and steal your customer. But how does Microsoft retain them? Keep that 25. Like when they gave the latest quarterly, they said they didn't give another number. Notice no number came out. They just said it went up. So it could have went from 25 to 25.1. And again, that's a peak. That's peak. So you're not going to mention the valleys. They're not going to mention the valleys.
Well, listen, the one thing that I'm super happy about is with this whole COD situation and Microsoft basically saying that it's going to stay over there is the fact that I'll still be able to enjoy, COD days with my man Persona when he's doing them on his channel. Because
hell yeah.
I don't know if he'd be playing those boys on Xbox if it wasn't on PlayStation anymore.
No, I
watched them. I watched them fools on Xbox anyway. You feel me? It's all good.
Well, listen. I see you, bro. I see you. I'm not trying to challenge you. If I wanted to challenge you, I'll tell you to come to Destiny, but I'm not going to do that.
I'm a beast at Destiny too. You already know.
No, don't get. Listen, I can tell. Listen, right now I have kept everybody here for 3 hours. The great Jimmy Harrison says it's actually the A90K 48-inch Bravia. He said, "My bad. It's definitely not a $3,000 TV." Shout out to the great Jimmy Harrison, by the way, the great Jimmy Harrison. Guys, I kept you guys all here for about 3 hours. I want to say thank you to everybody. First of all, and thank this panel. What a great panel! I told you guys, CrossFire is one of those unique situations where we start with 4, we end with 9. It is what it is. I love it. I absolutely love it. I thank you guys so much for being here. It means the world to me. I hope you guys enjoyed as well. The panel, the chat. What a great chat. Thanks for the super chats, guys. Please, so many new people did hit the subscribe button. We're so close to 11,000. I think I'm 35 people away from 11,000 subs. Guys, it really means the world to me. Please, if you're here all the time, hit that button. We are going to be doing a giveaway. Next week, we'll do a couple of the Amazon gift certificates that I have. And then we are going to be leading up to the Xbox Series S that I'm giving away. I have it right here in the room. It's all sealed up. So that being said, let's go in reverse order here. Let me go with the great Jez7780. Jez, thank you for being here tonight, buddy. I know that you do like 4 or 5 shows yourself every week. So.
Yeah, well, this week I did too, but thank you guys. It was awesome. Thank you for having me on. Sorry I couldn't come on earlier. I got pulled into some stuff. I didn't even realize it was goddamn 8 o'clock. I was like, holy crap. I put the kids to bed and I ran down here. I was like, oh, yeah, Mooch was like reaching out to me all day. Dude, I went from like work right into like Friday family activities and then got lost in it. So sorry about that coming on late, but thank you again. Awesome chat. Awesome panel. Thank you again, guys. Hit that like button.
Yes,
you can follow me over at Jez7780. GMG grinds my gears. Nobody knows me, Forte. Come on now.
Everybody knows you.
They know the grind the gears. Fernando, my favorite character. Still looking for that toy, man. That pilot. And I haven't seen him.
Bootleg Joel. Absolutely.
Bootleg Joel, baby.
Thank you so much, buddy. Appreciate you being here.
Hey, thanks, guys.
The great Fork Boy Gaming. Fork, listen, I really, really had a great time tonight, man. Thank you for everything, man. And it's funny because no matter what show you're ever on, your own channel, when you're on Gaming Beyond the Box, when you're here with us, you're always just you're just spitting common sense all the time, man, and just making things fun. So, Fork, thanks for keeping gaming fun, man. Thanks for being here tonight. Let them know where they can find you, and of course, I'll be bothering you again very soon, Fork.
You find me at Forkboy Gaming on Twitter, on YouTube. I still figuring that out, but doing Inside the Puppets with the kids, which are my kids, not somebody else's. But
shout out to kids.
But honestly, with one more statement, just remember you can have 60 frames on a 1440, and then when it goes to your nice 4K TV, all TVs upscale.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, Fuck, I was going to say that when I had the conversation, like the TVs, even these OLEDs now, the processors in them, man, when I put in that, in performance mode, it looks so much sharper, like, than probably
and so
if you
people are like, I can't tell a difference, and it's like, well, it's because your
the
4K
TV
is upscaling it. You can't add frames. But anyways, hey, thanks for having me on, Mooch. Sorry it took me so long, just working the OR sucks, but yeah, thanks. It was great talking to you all. I do miss podcasting and yelling at people. I mean, talking to people and sending nudes. So
now I know
always
why.
fun.
Now I know why Fork can afford $75 a month on Game Pass. He works in the OR.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, Mooch and I have been going back and forth trying to get on here. I don't know, 3 or 4 months now. It's
at least.
Oh, I know about people in the OR. My mom was she was the ICU nurse. So
Forte, come on, I'm in clan with you. How many times I've been like, yeah, I'm not making the raid tonight. I'm still at work.
Yep.
I know.
I call you. Listen, Fork will be the first to always say, Mooch, I'm not. I call him Dr. Fork. It's just the way it is. He knows this shit. But yeah, Fork. Honestly, thank you for being here, man. It means a lot.
No problem, man. It's always a pleasure. Always fun.
Thank you, brother. And then the great Persona. You guys know him with Gaming Persona. Persona Speaks. You know, let me tell you something, Persona. I have to apologize before I thank you. I apologize for keeping you for 3 hours when I know you and Jay are doing 3 hours tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock Eastern. So let me just say this much. Persona, love what you're doing, man. Love the solo cast. Please don't stop. Let people know where they can find you. And again, honestly, privileged to have you, man.
I'm a PlayStation fan too. No, first off,
I'm
man,
neutral.
Mooch, I appreciate you.
I'm neutral.
I appreciate you guys, having me. I always appreciate.
I got a wife and kids for.
I appreciate the invite and whatnot, man. It's always cool to chop it up, with the fellas and talk some good games and whatnot. It's always good, man.
Respect my time.
Absolutely. As for me, man, I'm Persona. My Twitter is @PersonaSpeaks, and like Mooch said, me and Bari, we do a show every Saturday morning, 11 a.m. on our official What's Up PlayStation YouTube channel. It's gonna be a great show, man. It's a lot of great topics, a lot of great news this week. So if you can make it, we appreciate it. And if you do enjoy, definitely subscribe and whatnot. And listen, I appreciate all of you. I hope you have a great weekend. Please be safe.
Thank you, Persona. Appreciate that and the kind words as well. Eric, you must have felt like you were in a room of colleagues tonight because there was a lot of reasoning going on tonight. Of course, they are all learning from your book. We have your textbook, of course. We have to buy that before the class. Eric, just great to have you here, man. You know I love it. It's just, I don't know. You're one of those people that you meet a lot of people over the years podcasting, and you're just one of those people that I said, I just feel like I grew up next door to this man my entire life. So, Eric, thanks for being here tonight. I know you got a lot going on with your family as well. please do let everybody know that we hope everyone's feeling well in the house. I want to say that.
Yeah, finally getting back, man.
Good.
COVID just wants you to like die.
It does. It just doesn't want to
treat you, man. Like
it's like you will never be the same again. Yes, I know.
Exactly,
I know.
man.
I hear you. You know,
so
but
no,
Aaron,
everybody's doing good, man.
Good, and I'm glad to hear that. But let everybody know they can find you. And again, thank you so much for being here tonight.
Nah, man, always a pleasure, man. Great night just chopping it up with the panel. Great conversations. The chat, everybody was great. Well, some people were great. Not everybody was great, but you know how it goes.
Oh man,
You know how that goes.
I need to know behind the scenes now.
No, I'm just joking. But no, great show, man. Mooch, I'm always a pleasure to be here, man. So whenever we can get that going, I'm here.
Appreciate that, E. Thank you so much. Then the usual suspects that you guys know. Actually, let me do a quick shout out to the great Noof Nukem who had to leave earlier. It's Boom Boom Kaboom. Noof Nukem. He's going to be doing his Gaming After Dark. Is going to be returning. I want to say it's September 6th. If I'm wrong on that date, I apologize. It's one of the first Tuesdays. I think it is the 6th. And I believe the great Crap Gamer and myself are going to be joining him on that show when he comes back. So shout out to Noof Nukem. Thanks for being here, Noof. I know we had some technical difficulties with the microphone, but just awesome to have Noof, man. I used to talk so much to Noof on podcasting, and then with the time differential and him starting so late at night sometimes, and me being on the East Coast didn't always match up. But shout out to Noof. Thank you so much for being here. Guys, go over and check him out on Twitter and YouTube. But, you know, the great Gaming Forte, you guys know this. Now, Forte promised me he'd be here all day. He had other things to do. He has family. He has things to do, okay? There are things more important than Crossfire, even though I don't personally think so. I don't think so, but he does. It's okay. But Forte, I do have to have at least a guaranteed Forte card on your next Friday off. I have to have a full 2 hours of Forte. It's just too good to not have. But Forte, let everybody know where they can find you. We always appreciate what you do and bring your knowledge to the podcasts when we're all talking a bit crazy. So Forte, thanks for being here, buddy. Let people know where they can find you.
No, man, I appreciate it, man. It's always great to be here, especially when 3/4 of the BRAP cast is here too. Right. So it's always great to be. Shout out to E. Haven't been around him in a while.
Not 3/4, man. Former 3/4.
Well, he's still. Hey, listen, he's still in the group chat, so that's all that matters. He's still.
Well, that
is
true. He's alumni. He's alumni.
He's alumni. But yeah, the one thing I always want to tell people is, you know, Crossfire is always a heated debate. It's always fun to go back and forth with your fellow gamers and stuff. But at the end of the day, we're all still friends, no matter what.
Absolutely.
And that's the cool thing about having these type of debates here. We're going to walk away from here. We're still going to go want to play games and stuff with each other. And that's always a great thing. So make sure you do the same thing with all your friends and all your peoples. Don't take stuff too serious. Play games. Enjoy yourself over the course of the weekend. Check out DPS Podcast yesterday on my boy Slow-Mo's channel. It'll be on mine next week. You guys have a great week. And we will see you guys next time.
When y'all starting up that official channel?
I think in September we are. I think we're tentatively looking at episode 100 launching it.
Got you. Okay,
that's a good move. Good move. Love what
Yeah,
you guys do. Love the combination of Slow-Mo and Forte. Speaking of BRAP, how about Basement Radio Arcade Podcast, aka Mr. Conjecture himself? BRAP, great show tonight, buddy. Thanks for all that you're doing, and thanks for getting my blood pressure all riled up early this morning. Yeah, absolutely. I don't even need coffee. I just need a call from BRAP. BRAP, let people know they can find you, buddy. And as always, thank you so much for being here tonight.
Yeah, no, absolutely great show. You know what, Mooch? Our conversations could be podcasts, by the way.
They really should. I don't see why we don't air
it. I mean, they really could. They really could. Yeah. So, no, great show, man, and always love the perspectives that we get in the show. And it's always great. There's not many shows that do that. You know, there's a lot of shows that kind of pom-pom platforms and. Nice
listen, I got no problem people telling me I'm wrong. All I ever hear is says, if you're gonna say Mooch, you're wrong, just tell me why. You know? You say why afterwards, and if it's a good reason, we got a great debate. That's what it's all about, guys. I encourage that with all shows. Yeah. If you have a difference of opinion, outstanding. I think you should be able to vocalize that all you want, but just have a good reason behind it too, you know?
I mean, it's all about discourse, and that's kind of the lost art, I guess, with social media. So, but BRAP podcast every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. There's going to be a BRAP rant either Saturday or Sunday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this weekend. And I'm going to be talking about there's an argument about complete games, which I'll get into, and $70 games again. So Yeah.
The topic
Why
that keeps
the $70 game debate.
Eric,
It's 2 years.
That's because people are bored.
It's the
Toothpaste
topic.
is not going back in the tube. Either shit or get off the pot.
It's the topic that keeps on
Eating
giving.
a $70 argument. What?
It's just it's the topic that keeps giving, and I've had people tell me that
Like day and
$70
date.
games today are not complete games because they, complete games are $90 to $100 now because of DLC and microtransactions. I'm like,
What?
no, that's not how that works. So
When this person
Yeah.
start gaming? That's probably the first question you should ask.
I mean,
in the
Persona,
debate. When you start gaming?
I don't disagree with you, man. Like, yeah, exactly. But
Hasn't DLC been around for like 20 years?
Yes, it
yeah,
has.
but
I mean,
that is the consensus out there. There is, I mean, we saw in the live chat today. It's crazy. It's crazy that I have to talk about this, but I do.
Look, people, anytime you talk about the
Yeah.
$70 game and you tell people to get over it, they think that you're like, why are you defending the corporations? And it's like, I'm not. I'm a consumer that's just adjusting to how everything around me goes up.
Yep.
So you got two choices. You can either get over it and move on, or move on and get over it. Those are your two
Eric,
choices.
I was gonna say, Eric took the words out of my mouth. What you should say is, "But look, if you're so unhappy with gaming, quit,
Leave.
Get out of here."
Yeah, I mean,
go find another hobby. Go collect post stamps or some shit. I don't know.
I mean, hey,
No, that's expensive too. Persona.
Yeah, it is. Persona. We pay for water. The most
That's crazy. Too,
We do
right?
pay for water.
resource. We pay the most abundant free resource. on
Listen,
planet Earth.
you might grow up. You might grow
We
up.
pay for water.
I'm about to go up to the Catskills and get that shit myself, man. You feel me?
Listen,
look,
man,
I'll go one further. There's people that go to oxygen bars to get oxygen.
I heard
man.
about that.
Paying for air.
Facts.
Bro,
Facts.
I'll give you one even worse. There's people buying Xboxes. Okay, have a good night.
Oh, Persona! Persona!
Hey, Persona,
Messy
yo.
on the way out the door.
Messy.
Messy on the way out the
That
door.
is messy. Yes.
He done kicked you.
Persona, I thought you were neutral.
It's just jokes. I'm a neutral.
I'm a neutral.
I play on everything.
I'm a neutral. Don't mind me in your
with
bedroom.
my friends.
I have every console.
You guys are great,
my
man.
God.
Honestly, I love how you just dropped the mic on that one. Guys, that being said, please do go check me out over on Mooch TV. Drop the O's for zeros all across all platforms. That's Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter. And like I said, we'll see you guys next Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Guys, great show. Enjoy your weekend. Play a game. We'll talk next week. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.